Begin. Broadcast. Humble Among Broadcast System number 102. Violent J's podcast spree. I'm going to just go ahead and get the reveal out of the way. Hey, hi, what's up? How you doing? Violent J's podcast spree. Violent J was on like 3 different podcasts this week. I'm going to be talking about all of them. Let's see. What do we got? We got the Sex, Drugs, and Rock and Roll podcast on Gas Digital that we talked about last time. That dropped first. Then we had the Artist Spotlight podcast, I think it's called, with Joel Madden. Right? That's the dude's name. Artist Friendly. That's what it's called. The Artist Friendly podcast with Joel Madden. Jay was on as well. And then last but certainly not least, Stevo's Wild Ride. Jay was on as well. Stevo's podcast, slight spoiler, was the best one of the 3, in my opinion. I'm going to break all 3 down because there's little bits and pieces that kind of all tie together from these podcasts. So yeah. But before we get to that, that's going to be the main event tonight. We have a whole bunch of other shit to talk about, including OUIJA MACC and Trizz officially announcing their project. Oh, shit. Heartbreaker with the super chat. I'm going to make sure I like that right out of the gate. I asked this girl out from work to get some coffee, and she said yes. Let's go. Congratulations to Heartbreaker. That's dope. Emily, you're quiet as hell. You haven't said a word on stream so far.
I will.
She's going to be a quiet panda now. Watch. How you doing tonight?
Fine.
Did you get the thing we're supposed to unbox?
Oh no, I forgot.
Yeah, you should go get that. We have a look. Jesus. Oh my goodness, we're just dropping stuff left and right. Emily's gonna get a little something that we're gonna unbox here. We got just yesterday, right? So yeah, we're gonna. Emily, quiet. I know, right? I want to be careful with that address there. All right, we're gonna unbox that.
It's here.
So we are going to Lost Lands in just a couple of weeks, and this is the VIP pack that they send out for that, right?
Yeah. Oh,
Where's the other one?
I just had them.
Did we drop that one too? Uh-oh.
I literally just had it.
Did it go under the fucking couch?
I had both of them in my hands. Oh no, he's still in here.
He's still in there. So you get these like little cute dinosaur keychains. These little cute guys. Stevo, this is not a toy for you. Stevo is down there on the ground looking like I'm going to attack that. Stevo, you want this really bad, huh? You can't have it. You can't have it, Stevo. It's not for you.
So I guess first and foremost, the most
Stevo,
important...
get down. You bad cat. That's not for you.
The most important part is the wristbands. Our little VIP wristbands, let's see. VIP wristbands with our little chip, and that's what gets you, the little chip in here is what gets you in and out of VIP area. They came with 2 sets of eargasm earplugs, a little QR code so you can register your wristbands, and it comes with all these little guys that have the same QR code on them, and so when your stuff is registered to this QR code, like if you stick this on your phone, right, and you register this QR code, if someone finds your phone, they can scan this QR code, and they will contact whoever you're with. So you basically like put your friends' phone numbers and contact info in here, and they'll find you.
Did you explain the cool little chip in these?
Yeah, so there's a chip in the wristband.
You can see it's like actually in there. I don't know if this code really matters, but there's that code on the back.
Yeah, so that's what gets you in and out of
They scan that
VIP.
to get you in and out.
There's like a big like thing, and you just gotta go like that, and it turns green, and it lets you in. some dino luggage tags.
Oh, Papa, not only are the dinosaurs there, they're actually out and about and not really hidden. There's so much more extra
shit. The
shit.
only reason why the Gathering has dinosaurs is because
of Lost Lands.
Lost Lands, Jeff, the DJ Excision, whose festival it is, he's the one that bought all those dinosaurs with Steve Trickle.
Hey, that's so fresh. Death Destroyer says, watching y'all from the second day of the float. Wish y'all made it, Mad Clown Love.
Hey.
Yo, shouts out to fucking Death Destroyer. Is that Cheese? Yeah, that's Cheese House.
Yeah.
Cheese House is at the float right now, reporting live from the float. Thank you for watching at the float. I was actually a little worried about tonight's broadcast, the attendance of tonight's broadcast, because the float's going on. It's Labor Day. It's a Saturday. People are getting fucked up out there on tonight. So I wasn't really expecting a lot of y'all in the chat, but we got 31 in here so far. So that's not too fucking bad for right out the gate on a party night like tonight. So thank you for everyone for tuning in. I haven't even fucking sent the fact that we're live out. I haven't done my whole sharing thing. Let me do that while we talk a little bit more about Lost Lands. Sorry to interrupt you with that.
It's okay.
We are live.
What bands are you? So, Lost Lands is a dubstep festival. So I'm really, really stoked to see Smokeland, because I've never seen Smokeland. Most of the DJs I've seen at Lost Lands or everywhere else, Ganja White Night, Boogie T, Subtronics.
Oh, geez, guys. 2 super chats. This episode with the episode with M's death drops tomorrow. M's revenge drops in 2 weeks. Check out LHRPG for Emily. What is it? Emily Among?
Yeah, the pirate princess.
The pirate priestess, I think. Emily Among. Whoop whoop from Roselle. Make sure I like that for the $2 super chat. Whoop whoop back. Thank you guys for the super chats. That shit helps out a lot.
Base Nectar gonna be there? Fuck no, Base Nectar's not gonna be there.
By the way, I just saw. Explain this to me. What is going on with? I know you've probably explained this before. I saw he had an event canceled.
Yeah, he had an event
yesterday?
canceled because whoever made the event, promoter, whatever, didn't realize how much of a fucking piece of shit Base Nectar is. I mean, there are so many Instagrams. I think it's called Proof Against Taylor or whatever, because that's his real name, or I can't even remember his real name. It's been so long. But Base Nectar is
he's a Chomo.
Yeah,
Chomo? I'm not sure.
Remember, I was telling you he is one of the only DJs that has all age shows most of the time. Okay, he does not do even 18 and up. He literally does all ages raves, and that's weird.
A little weird, yeah. We are live now. Okay. Once again, if you guys would like to help me out and put this link in your own little profiles and stuff, that does help me out quite a bit.
Oh, the schedule is probably, the app is for Lost Lands has probably been updated.
Oh, do we know, do you think we might know a schedule?
Let's see. Let's open.
Ooh, that would be really cool if maybe we could sneak that in.
Open the Lost Lands app.
Share. Okay, I got to get the link again. Put that here. And then I'll do Facebook. All right. Just did Instagram. Let's do Twitter or X real quick.
Here we go.
We are.
Yep. So look, there's a lineup and schedule. There's a whole Lost Lands app.
Oh shit! So we really gotta do a whole Lost Lands thing, maybe.
And then look, there's my schedule, and then you can create your schedule, and it reminds you.
So the lineup is there though.
Yeah, the lineup is there, and then it has where, and then these are all the stages. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 stages.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
So we're gonna have to. Is there more visually pleasing graphic that shows the lineup like The Gathering, where it's a timeline?
Not really, because there's
Does it look like you scroll through all this shit?
Because there's so many
artists, so many stages.
It's nearly impossible to make one image that will make that happen.
Okay.
Unfortunately.
I'll have to figure out a way to talk about. Maybe we'll talk about like the things we want to see.
Yeah.
Because you're really going to be my guide for this. I'm very inexperienced when it comes to EDM dubstep festivals. I've never even been to an EDM show. Well, I guess maybe if you count some of the EDM artists that I've performed with, like Andrew Ponix or fuck, what was that? Wasn't the name of that DJ we performed with?
I don't remember, but he was fucking
north.
dope. He was fucking sick.
He was cool. That was a good kid.
I mean, like Rusko, I've seen Rusko so many times, but never gets old. Willie G. Jones, I've seen them. Sudden Death. I mean, honestly, even though it's an Excision festival, Excision is like not my number one favorite.
They didn't read the super chats. What?
What super chats?
Oh shit! Sorry, Steve. I didn't even see you there. I was busy sharing that shit. Sorry, Steve. Stevo making an appearance.
Leroy Jenkins.
Sorry, Steve. I'm an asshole.
I'm looking like a snack.
I almost missed that shit.
Thanks, Leroy Jenkins.
God damn, I feel like an asshole, Steve. My bad, homie. But yeah, we're going to be talking about Stevo for sure. I want to give Stevo major props tonight for his interview. I thought he did really good. Even though he was a little, I think, worried. He seemed really worried that he crossed a line with Violent J. But he explains that as, with their history of him being mad. Do you know the story about Stevo getting mad at Jay? The whole history of their beef, how that started. So Stevo was back in Stevo's party days. He saw Jay and I think ABK out in public.
Does it have something to do with the fact that Stevo went to clown college?
Yeah, he was mad at. He found out like those are some ICP dudes. So he just started like yelling at them that they're not real clowns and he's a real clown because he went to clown college. And Jay was like, I think a little heated at the time, but he understood he was like in Stevo's bubble, so to speak. Yeah. So like for years after that, he was looking for an opportunity to catch Stevo slipping. And he kept almost catching Stevo slipping and wanted to beat his ass. But anyway, Stevo apologized for that. They patched shit up, and then Stevo ended up hosting main stage at the Gathering of the Juggalos 2021, one of the nights. And Stevo definitely one of the cooler hosts, I think, ever for main stage as far as, like, fitting in, kind of. Stevo showed his goddamn butthole, his cavernous butthole.
He sure did.
I'm fired. How'd I get fired? That's impossible. You can't fire me from a position where I volunteer. Maybe you can do that. Can you fire a volunteer? I think you can fire a volunteer. All right, let's get into my notes a little bit. First of all, before we get too deep into shit, I want to say rest in peace to Arlene Sorkin. If you don't know who Arlene Sorkin is, that's the original voice of Harley Quinn from the Batman animated series, the original animated series from 1990, 1991 or whatever. Basically, the first incarnation of Harley Quinn is in the animated series. She is not a character that originates in the comic books. Maybe she eventually shows up in the comic books, I think, in Batman the Animated Series comic book. I think that's her first comic book appearance. But she's a creation of the animated series, and Arlene Sorkin was the original voice. And in my opinion, a large part of what made that character was that voice work. So I wanted to pay my respects to Arlene real quick. We got anything interesting in the chat popping off?
Devil Ape 666 says check Deuces, Holes, Sticky Sound, Subfiltronic, Cod Dubs, and Chibs. I know
some
all
recommendations.
them. I know all them. I seen Sticky Sound at Echo Stage like right before I moved to Ohio.
Hey, there's Andrew Ponix in the chat. Shouts out to Andrew Ponix.
He was talking about the cat. He said he was on the stuff when we were unboxing the Lost Land stuff. He was talking about that Stevo appearance.
Oh, I'm an asshole. Wrong, Stevo.
I'm an asshole.
We got two Stevos. We got two Stevos. We got two
Echo
Stevos
Stage.
Tonight.
Oh shit. Ashhole. I guess where you guys are, that's kind of like like the nearest like big whatchamacallit, venue for shows, Ash. Because I mean there's like the Fillmore and stuff, but Echo Stage is the best.
Matt, was that the thing you hit my inbox about? I'm sorry I didn't get back to you about that. I'll get back to you about that, Matt.
Diplo is at Echo Stage tonight.
I'm definitely interested in that, by the way.
I used to love Diplo when I was in high school. You guys are about an hour.
Did Jay really say ICP is taking another year off before working on the 6 Jokers card? No! That is bad reporting from a bad Juggalo YouTube channel. Do not trust bad sources with bad reporting because they do it over and over and over again. I have another example of that for you later tonight. He said that ICP is taking a year off, the same year that they've been taking off. He did not say they are adding another year to this year off, and he did not even mention the 6 Jokers card at all in any of the interviews that I watched. Trust your fucking sources, people. Uh-oh. You got to pee?
No.
You got to poop?
No.
She's got a poop emergency, y'all. She's got to poop.
My
So, while Emily poops, I'm going to read from the... I'm going to read from Tom Dubb's... I'm going to do what Manny does and read while someone goes to the bathroom.
Shit on stream? Because I'll shit on your chest right now in front of all these people.
Hey, I Am Mystic said it. Spread the Dead said that bullshit, so don't pay attention to that clickbait shit. Thank you, I Am Mystic, for saying the name so I could repeat it. And, yeah, don't. You should. This is one of the reasons that I had a problem with Spread the Dead originally, because they were misreporting things constantly. That's one of my original problems with those motherfuckers. And I think that dude got a big chip on his shoulder about that shit. And that's how that whole fucking thing snowballed into what it was.
If anybody actually, Davey Scorsese, if you know anybody wants to pay me to shit on his chest, I will gladly do it.
OnlyFans?
Say less. I will fucking do it. Love you, Woody.
We're like 20 seconds early from the 17th minute mark, but I figured I'd do it early this time rather than do it late. But yeah, that's not accurate. That a lot of the stuff that they report over there is inaccurate information. Shit, Roselle just gifted 5 Humble Among memberships, alienated memberships to Humbug, to Indecent, to Juggalo Professor, to King Headass.
My son.
And Mizzle Medicinal backwards, or Medicinal Mizzle backwards. You all just got memberships to the alienated tier. You can watch the Juggalo Ohio vlog. You can watch the vasectomy vlog. You can watch the Gathering of the Juggalos exclusive podcast that we did, even if in its glitched format. Let me get an ashtray. You can watch all that shit and more. More alienated exclusive stuff will be dropping. The alienated will probably get the first uncut version of the Gathering documentary that I do this year, and then I'll cut it down for public consumption a lot more. The alienated is only $2.99. It's really fucking cheap to join. You see all these green motherfuckers in the chat. Those are all alienated. Shouts out to everybody who supports me. That shit does help out tremendously. You have no idea how much that shit helps out. Okay. Before we get into ICP stuff, let's talk about ICP stuff. Hell's Pit, 19th anniversary this year. 19 years since Hell's Pit came out. Also this week was Bang Pow Boom's 14th anniversary. 2 Jokers cards, 2 anniversaries, same week. That makes next year the 20th and 15th anniversary of both of these fucking albums. Now, real quick, I just wanted to talk about my relationship with Hell's Pit because that's a very important Jokers card to me. Hell's Pit basically saved my life a couple of nights when I was really fucking drunk and like, I don't know, had like a lot of dark thoughts type beat. That dark ass album, specifically songs like Truly Alone and Suicide Hotline and Night of the 44, those 3 songs in particular saved my fucking life a couple of nights. The sadness and the anger in those 3 songs that I just mentioned saved my fucking life. So I really wanted to give that album some props because, you know, the Joker's cards really are all like different phases you might be in your life. Like Hell's Pit and Shangri-La are probably the biggest examples of that, where you could be in a very dark spot in your life and really relate with Hell's Pit. Or you could be in a really good spot in your life and really relate with Shangri-La. Anyway, I just wanted to cut that very quick little promo about that. Bang Pow Boom is a really fucking dope album too, but it didn't quite save my life like fucking Hell's Pit did a few times there. So I really wanted to show some love to Hell's Pit. Let's talk about some shit we've been watching. Below Deck. We've been watching shitloads of Below Deck. We burned through seasons 4 and 5, and now we're on season 6 now. We're averaging about 2 to 3 seasons a week. We are watching that much Below Deck. I love the show. I can't help it. It's like one of my guilty pleasures. It's like as good as Bar Rescue was. If you guys remember when I was obsessed, we were obsessed with Bar Rescue and talking about that damn near every episode. It's as good as Bar Rescue. And honestly, kind of similar shows in a way because of the weird behind the scenes.
This motherfucker never thought he would be into any type of Bravo show. But I knew Below Deck was going to be the one.
But you know what it is? It really is that. Hat. It really is. Shouts out to Taffer Hat. It really is. Excuse me. This is for the motherfuckers that hate me coughing on here.
Shut it down! You're gonna kill someone!
It really is Triangle of Sadness, though, that got me hooked on Below Deck.
Facts.
We haven't watched How To with John Wilson yet. The new season just wrapped up. I want to see that. Apparently, UFO abductee, alleged UFO abductee Travis Walton is in episode 5. And they show him accepting payment for an interview at the end of it. I'm really fucking looking forward to that little tidbit. Let's see. The other things we watched this past week, we watched a documentary series on HBO called Telemarketers, a little 3-part series. So this was a documentary shot over 20 years, I guess you could say. It seems like it's 20 years worth of footage, about maybe 15 years worth of footage. Footage going back until like 2006 and maybe a little bit before that. I think there is some footage from a little bit before that about this basically telemarketing company. Do you remember the name of the damn company? CDC? No, it wasn't CDC.
It's like PCG or something like that.
Yeah, some telemarketing company out of Jersey.
Northern Jersey too, and let me tell you something. Yeah, my mom had those stickers on her car because my mom is such a fucking.
So they sell basically fraternal order of the police stickers. I don't know if you've seen these like FOP stickers with the star on them that'll be on like businesses or cars. They would sell those and pretend like they were actually calling for FOPs, and they weren't really like, they would pretend like they were straight up police officers and basically scamming old people out of money to get these dumb stickers and like different tiers of money donations. And supposedly some of this money is going to families of killed police officers in the line of duty.
And people also
less
think
than 10% was actually going, if any of it was going.
Stickers prevent you from getting pulled over.
Mm-hmm.
Like a cop is gonna see all those cop donations, had them on their cars. And they're gonna be like, "Nope, you're good."
A lot of targeting of like foreigners who have businesses in this country. And having them think that if they put it on their business window, they'll be like extra protected by police and shit. But yeah, 3-part documentary that's really interesting because it was shot behind the scenes, like in some of these facilities, like or office buildings or basements. I don't even know where some of these places are.
Warehouses.
Like actual like antics that were going on at these facilities, and like they just straight up like hired criminals. It's pretty wild fucking footage. Very gonzo, very raw feeling documentary. One of the call center guys ends up being like the Michael Moore of the piece, who goes around and interviews people. Really fucking good. I enjoyed it. Then we watched this Glitch documentary also on HBO. Mm-hmm. That's about, what's the name of the fucking trivia app? I didn't put the name of the app in the notes.
HQ.
Yes, HQ. The trivia app HQ, which was basically like a streaming show / trivia show where they had this little host and they do a little trivia game and you could win $10, $50, $100. And it's the rise and fall of this app that I do remember being incredibly popular. I never fucking played it. Did you ever play it?
I played it, but like I didn't get too into it. To me, like when I tried to play, it just seemed like, I don't know, it seemed, because I guess it was so new and I knew it wasn't scammy, it like felt scammy to me.
Yeah, facts.
And I was like, no, I'm not into
it. Yeah, decent documentary if you just kind of like behind the scenes tech shit, but kind of interesting. I like that shit. Then we watched The Flash. That's probably the only movie we watched this past week. I had to see The Flash because of Michael Keaton returning as Batman. Spoiler. He's on the poster, but spoiler. I liked this movie, but it's also so, I mean, superhero movies are getting so paint by numbers, it's fucking painful a little bit. It's always got to be the same shit. Like, there has to be this, like, world-ending, big, fucking, giant battle at all of them. I don't know. They need to break the mold of these superhero movies a little bit more, in my opinion.
I have no opinion on it because I don't like superheroes.
She basically was just playing fucking Candy Crush the whole fucking movie.
Literally.
It did catch your attention a couple of times.
That's the thing. There was, like, a couple parts where I was like, that's clever.
Let's do the segment. Let's see if you can do the segment. Emily, will you describe the movie The Flash real quick?
Okay. Let's see. There's this, like, weird, awkward dude who has a fast metabolism and he can, like, vibrate through walls.
Yep.
And somebody thinks that his dad killed his mom, but really his other dimension dude killed his mom.
Well, here's the thing. Slight non-spoiler, I guess you should say. They don't actually reveal that in the movie. I was just heavily this is a slight speculation spoiler. So I'm gonna talk a little spoilery shit. So in the movie, he goes, what he thinks he's going back in time, but he's actually going into a different dimension, and he meets a younger.
Through time and space.
He meets a younger version of himself, that he thinks is the same timeline.
Oh my God, Matthew McConaughey needed him.
For what?
To get out of space hole thing.
Oh, for
if he had the
Interstellar.
Flash, he could have saved him. He wouldn't even needed to fucking push the books off the shelf.
Well, Matthew McConaughey saved himself in that movie at the end.
Yeah, kind of.
But yeah, I had a theory that basically the younger version of him, the alternate version of him, was basically Reverse Flash. Like, as soon as I saw him,
Flash is probably my favorite character in the whole movie.
He's wearing, like, so much yellow in that first scene. I'm like, that's Reverse Flash right there. And there's a part later in the movie where he says something about the mom's death, and he says it doesn't matter, like, about the mom's death. And I was like, that motherfucker killed her. He definitely killed her ass.
Yeah,
I believe in the comics, Reverse Flash is the one that killed Barry's mom.
That Back to the Future joke.
Dog
too.
Davey, Davey. So that was like the confirmation that I'm like, oh yeah, he's definitely, because I was already like, he's in a fucking alternate reality. When they did that Back to the Future joke, I was like, yeah, this is definitely a fucking alternate reality.
Honestly, though, like...
that was really dope.
Reverse Flash being, like, the literal, like, worst superhero ever, like, biggest fuck up.
Yeah, that shit's funny.
He's, like, my favorite.
That is a highlight of the movie.
He was, like, my favorite character.
The other highlight for me...
He's an idiot, but, like, I liked it.
The other highlight for me is the actual multiverse stuff, and sort of at the end, they do a, almost a Crisis on Infinite Earths thing where, like, I think they're trying to do a thing where it's like all the realities are combining, like Crisis on Infinite Earths, and you see like these different realities, like, and they do like 40 Superman, like that reality, like black and white Superman, the original George Reeves Superman, I think is what that reality is supposed to be. They do like a fucking Christopher Reeves Superman, the 70s Superman. Then they do. This was a dope Easter egg. They do Nick Cage Superman fighting a giant spider, which is a fucking really nerdy Easter egg. If you know your Kevin Smith lore, Kevin Smith told this story of a producer who was obsessed with throwing in a giant spider into the Nick Cage Superman movie that never happened. That was going to be directed by Tim Burton, but never happened. That shit was fucking dope. Anyway, I'm going to move on from that. Talk some, let's actually get into the images here. Because we need to, oh yeah, P.O. Box, if you want to send us some stuff. I did renew the P.O. Box. I didn't get a chance to check it. Before I get into alien stuff, let's talk about this. This was from Dynamite this past Wednesday. There was a fan in the crowd who had a C-17 sign. That shit's fucking cool as hell. Definitely had to show that some love real quick. All right, let's talk some alien shit real quick. I want to show this pic, and then I'm going to talk about some alien podcast stuff. So do you see anything weird about this pic? Anyone at home? Anything weird about it? I'm going to slowly zoom in until it's really obvious what we're looking at. I'll give you a hint. It's in the background. You see it? I'm going to zoom in now. I'm going to zoom in, all right, y'all? All right. You see it? I kind of zoomed in a little bit closer to where your attention should be at the top there. Do you see it? You maybe can kind of see it, right?
It's like I see a little dot in the face.
You see that, though? All right, now let's really zoom in. So that's, this is a picture from Bolivia.
Oh my God.
Being shared on Reddit of a alleged...
Come on!
An alleged transparent
Get
alien.
the fuck out of here.
Who was apparently walking on the other side of this river. Now, what do y'all think of this? Y'all...
Bullshit.
You think this is an edit thing?
Bullshit. That's bullshit. Let me tell you how much bullshit that is. That's so much bullshit. A fucking literal cow just walked into my fucking foyer and shit on the carpet. That's bullshit.
So Emily definitely thinks it's bullshit. We got some other bullshits in there. Anyone think it's real? Seems too good to be true.
Oh, this is bullshit.
Yeah, I don't think people are believing this one. All right, we got some other UFO stuff I want to show you guys.
Someone said scary.
So AARO launched. I'm going to talk about some other UFO stuff in a second, but I want to continue on this path of. You want any more of this?
Nope.
All right, I'm going to put that out. I'm going to continue on this path of showing you guys UFO stuff. Let me open up this website for you guys to see it. Oh, there it is. Oop. Whoa! We just caught infinite realities ourselves there. Holy shit. This is the AARO website. All Domain Anomaly Resolution Office. So this is the website that they're allegedly setting up so you can, like, report UFO sightings and shit like that. And, yeah, see, coming soon, reporting. But the interesting thing, let's see. Here we go. Down here, there's cases, right? And then you have official UAP videos. Now, this was the thing that I found interesting. Now, you click on that. They kind of very secretly released a bunch of new. Some of this stuff was released before, but some of this stuff is new. I have not seen some of this stuff.
Toto!
Now, you go all the way down, and you get the ones that have come out before, like in 2017, these Go Fast and gimbal videos and stuff. You guys have seen these before. We've seen this shit. The FLIR video. But then you have stuff like this, right? That's really smooth. Let me see if I can.
Taffy and Toto came in here at the same time. That makes my heart so happy.
Make this shit a lot bigger for you guys to see it as I scroll. There we go. That's a little better. A little better. This one's a little hard to see. You can see how fast I think it goes by. Alright, that one's not really that great. Oh wait, can I make it bigger? Oh, I think I can make it bigger. So this one's like not that amazing either, obviously. It's like a lot of dots in the sky. But as you go deeper into this one, they kind of start moving independently. This one also not that amazing though. This one, though, I think this is the Mosul orb video. This one's pretty fucking crazy. Now, this is what I think it is. This is the one that was in Iran, I believe. You see that fucking thing?
No.
You don't see that thing? That little metal orb. It's kind of moving all over the place there.
I guess. Oh, yeah, I see it.
All right, let's go to this one. And once again, you notice they don't really give you, like, the super crazy shit. Like, there's nothing here that's super crazy or mind-blowing. If they allegedly have, like, the mind-blowing shit, why not just give us the mind-blowing shit?
I feel like this is going to be like one of those E-Bombs World clips where it's like, do you see the fucking
See, I didn't even see anything in that one.
UFO, and then in 5 seconds, someone's going to fucking, like, a goblin's going to pop up on the screen and go, ah! It's going to scare you.
Something happened. Oh, wait, you see that? Once again, something very, very tiny and hard to perceive. Oh, there it is. So that one looked like they were, like, switching through filters or something. But, I mean, nothing too crazy, right? It's just kind of going back and forth.
Looks like a spider.
Alright. I think this is the last one. This one was decent to me, but still, like, where's the good shit? I think this might be the best one. That shit freeze. Was that it? That was it?
Wow.
It just flew by? See, all of these are like, are fucking basically nothing to me. I don't know.
Wackadoo.
But anyway, I wanted to share that because those are like official, more official UFO videos. All right, now let's talk about some more UFO shit. Jeremy Corbell and George were on Joe Rogan, episode 2028. And there's a lot of little interesting tidbits going on in this episode. The thread that I picked up on is this whole dark secret thing that people are talking about now. We talked last time about Tom DeLonge talking on Twitter or X about these the fact that these things maybe can move souls, can contain human souls, can possess human bodies. This whole soul obsession thing is the new thread that I'm picking up on. That's being I don't know if it's being inseminated into UFO culture on purpose, but it's definitely like popping up more and more.
Ow, so fucker.
This whole dark secret thing keeps coming up on. Shouts out to Stevo hurting Emily over here. Kept coming up. George said that aliens view us as containers of souls. That the aliens actually don't really look at us as living things. They look at us as container. They use the analogy of our souls are the wine and our bodies are the bottle. And I thought that was fucking really creepy that they might be seeing our souls as a commodity, or an intoxicant even. I don't know. And that this maybe is the dark secret that so many people are afraid of sharing. The reason that they don't want to do, because so many people apparently at the highest levels of this are willing to talk to people apparently, but they don't really want to disclose anything. They're not even for disclosure. I think even Tom DeLonge himself said he's not really for disclosure, which is odd to me. Yeah, and this is because of this whole secret, this deep dark secret. Now, could the secret be that they're behind creating us that whole gem, the ancient aliens thing of it. The Anunnaki came here to have us farm gold and all that kind of stuff. Could that be the dark secret? A lot of people think that might be it. But the idea that souls might be a commodity is a really creepy fucking thought. Also, in weird UFO stuff that I caught this week, Soft White Underbelly had an interview with a guy named Julius, who is an alleged alien abductee. If you're into alien semen harvesting type beats and cloning, not cloning, more I think he claims he has alien children.
Super into semen harvesting.
Oh, you're super into it. Go check that out.
That's what I caught. Me semen harvesting?
I hope he does more weird shit. Yes. I hope he Mark over there on Soft White Underbelly does more weird shit like that.
Slick.
Yeah, we sure ain't. We're right here. Hiding right in plain sight. Let's see. I got a couple other UFO things real quick. Weaponized did a whole episode about John Lear, which I found interesting because it seemed a clip of John Lear had gone viral on Reddit this past week. And I found it really interesting that Weaponized thought that this week was a good time to eulogize John Lear / throw dirt on his name after they just did an episode sort of about The Intercept and them throwing dirt on Dave Grush's name. I found it really interesting that they eulogized this guy that they knew, but also was like, yeah, he was crazy and maybe made a bunch of shit up. Anyway, very, very odd. In scientific type beat UFO stuff, Avi Loeb releases a sign. Oh, fucking Rizal gave away 5 more alienated memberships. One to Big Mike, one to Silver Stasher, one to Jack D, one to Steve Sharp, and one to Mick. Y'all are now members of the Alienated, and you can watch the Juggalo Ohio vlog, the vasectomy vlog, the Gathering of the Juggalos exclusive podcast. You can watch all that shit. Thank you, Rizal. That shit is fucking dope.
Lear was the reason the Knapp interview happened in the first place.
Hey, Lear, that's thank you for bringing that up, Andrew Ponix, because he's right. Lear is the reason that they met Lazar. Lear is the reason that they even found out about Bob Lazar. He introduced them to Knapp to Lazar. Thank you for bringing that up because that fucking jogged that memory. Let's see. Avi Loeb, though, claims in this new scientific paper that he has material that was found at the bottom of the ocean that is the first ever material found on planet Earth that originated outside of our solar system. Which I think is a big deal. Even he's not necessarily, it's alien to our planet, sure, but it's not necessarily evidence of UFOs or alien life like he was really hinting at heavily dropping. But still an interesting interesting thing.
Vlog. Yeah, we're gonna make that. Yeah, but
oh god.
But if it's
I don't even think I can get away with dropping that as a alienated exclusive on YouTube. I think I'm still gonna get in trouble.
Y'all gotta cash at me and I'll send it to you on Snapchat.
Just shitting on my chest. Was that you pooping? Was that? I thought for a second you were reacting.
No, I was laughing at my own joke.
I know. I thought you were recreating the poop.
No, it's not gonna squirt out like that.
Well, I mean, I'm gonna be disappointed if it don't make a sound.
All right, well then I need to fucking drink a lot of lactose.
A lot of lactose.
Milk and ice cream.
All right, let's get it. Let's get it. All right, I got some more high strangeness for y'all that you're probably gonna think is fake.
Oh my god.
But we got a Loch Ness.
I don't even need to see it.
You don't want to see the Loch Ness sighting?
I don't need.
I gotta fucking resize
it,
this.
But I don't need to.
See, I'm gonna resize this
because the Loch Ness Monster is? Lucy.
Tree Fitty.
What?
South Park reference. Loch Ness Monster needs about Tree Fitty.
Oh yeah.
Ooh. Even smaller. Ooh. All right.
Want to see my Bigfoot? Androponics. I don't know, do I?
Ooh. All right, I think that's good enough. All right, let's show you guys. What do you think? Bigfoot? Loch Ness?
It's Could be either.
Loch Ness Monster?
Boo.
Or tires in clear garbage bags? What do you think?
I think Captain Lee.
What's that?
Killed a duck.
Loch Ness Monster? And by the way, they use the famously hoaxed image down here at the bottom to give you guys some context there. That people that did that revealed that that's a toy elephant that they hoaxed that famous picture with.
Hydroponics of his boobies.
Boobies in the water, huh? I did see an interesting piece of Loch Ness video that I had never seen before this week, but I don't have that link for y'all. I might try to show that to y'all next week. But that shit was drone footage, I think, of the lake. And you can see something rising up. It's just a shadow. But it does look like the classic what Loch Ness Monster is supposed to look like. What happened to Toto?
Look what she said.
What happened to her head?
Look what she said.
Body pieces and pillowcases. Jesus Christ. Is Toto writing a horrorcore album over there?
Oh my God, Toto, please do it. Please do it, bitch. Please do it, bitch.
Toto's horrorcore album.
Oh my God, how amazing would that be? Girl.
Alright, I got a news thing I want to show you. I don't think I've talked to you about this, so I think it'll be funny for you to see this. Yeah, sure, I accept. Alright.
I'll accept your cookies.
Couple desperate for baby having sex wrong way for 4 years and wife is still a virgin.
Huh? Oh my God, how are they doing it in her butt?
You guessed it. You guessed it. A married couple desperate for a baby have been told they have been having sex the wrong way for 4 years, which is why they have failed to conceive. The pair, who have not been named, are aged 26 and 24, sought out professional advice after having no joy getting pregnant, despite
They've had no joy.
They had no joy.
Literally.
Maybe Jesus, despite having intercourse regularly, but alarm bells rang when medics discovered the wife was a virgin. She then admitted sex was usually painful for her every time.
No
What was
shit,
that?
Girl.
Let's see.
That's beyond the Louisville Slugger.
Let's see. The wife also revealed that the experience was unusually painful for her every time, but she suffered through it in the hope of becoming pregnant. The woman's symptoms led Dr. Lou to believe that she may have had some sort of gynecological disease, but Lou said she was shocked when the examination revealed the wife was a virgin. How do they find out that?
I don't even understand how that's possible, because going through puberty, like, every girl, like, inspects their whole entire body. You know what I mean? Like, it just happens, like, as your body is
I don't know how they found out. They didn't really kind of say that.
Like, you figure out you have a vagina hole.
A vagina hole?
You got a JJ hole. And you figure that out on your own. I don't understand how that's possible.
I mean, this is why sexual education is kind of important, right?
Facts.
All right. This is another story I haven't talked to you about because I wanted to see what your reaction is to it. A woman in Chicago snuck a gun into the
pussy?
White Sox game. Close, in her belly fat. And we're not done. She accidentally shot herself and another woman. And my favorite part, game continued as planned.
Shut the fuck up!
Did not stop that baseball game one bit. Show must go on.
First of all.
In the gun? I mean, I don't know where the bullet wound was. I'm curious where the fuck it happened.
Now, let me tell you something. I have hid some things and some crevices in my body. And I'm a big bitch. But I cannot hide shit under my fucking belly roll.
Yo.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that shit's crazy. Hiding the fucking, the piece under the belly fat is fucking insane. In related news, a Chicago lawmaker starts a petition to have a ceasefire for gangs in Chicago from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m.
What?
Related news. Let's see. I wanted to read this. Brandon Novak spoke on Bam Margera's life and says he's praying for him.
Ooh, awkward.
Let's see. Novak told Page 6 I'm praying for him. He's a sick man as I once was. So I understand where he's at. and I just hope he finds the willingness somewhere in his journey to buy into suggestions that can maybe make his life better. Which, you know, I think that's basically it from old Novak. If you guys don't know, Brandon Novak from Jackass fame or Viva La Bam fame or Bam's Unholy Union fame or any of those shows, Novak was like the really the most fucked up out of all the people in Bam's crew. He's like a former heroin addict, opioid addict to the extreme. Dude overdosed a couple of times, probably should have died a couple of times, but got his life together in the last few years. Did you just spill? Nope, did not. Got his life together, got sober, and now he does like he has like a couple of sober living houses that he runs. I think he has his own facility that he runs. And it's just really weird because it's like Bam was always the one kind of giving Novak shit.
Yeah, facts.
Even put Novak in that making of documentary of Haggard and kind of highlighted his heroin use in that shit. Yeah, fucking wild. Once again, I talk about this Bam stuff because I really do want to see Bam
What are your thoughts
do better.
on CM Punk getting fired by AEW today?
He got fired today? I know there's a whole thing with CM Punk and Miro, a.k.a. Rusev, there, having some sort of backstage fucking encounter. I didn't really look into that too much. I didn't know he got fucking fired. You're seeing my reaction to it right now. I mean, it's they probably should have fired his ass when he had that whole shit with Omega and the Young Bucks and shit. Damn, I did not know that.
LOL,
I did not know that, Davey.
Nothing but a spoiled bully bitch child.
He is a spoiled brat.
Fucking facts.
I'm listening to a lot of Radio Bam, and it's to the point where now like all the OG CKY crew is gone. It's in the where the fuck is Santa Claus era of Bam. He's like, he just opened a bar, which is a piece of Bam lore that I've never heard of before. I might end up doing some Bam lore videos for this YouTube channel because it's actually something I'm kind of fascinated about. And I think I could put together some interesting content with that shit. But that's definitely heavily in the maybe category there.
LHRP gifted a membership.
Gifted one membership to Bazaar 17. Thank you, LHRPG for gifting the membership. Bazaar, you can now watch the Juggalo High vlog, the vasectomy vlog. I'm not going to do the whole rap again. But yeah, man, Bam was like, anyway, Radio Bam. He's opening a bar right now and shit. And like, he very clearly is having like a really bad drinking problem. He's in the midst of like the drinking problem getting worse. Like, he even's like drunkenly randomly he's drunken ranting on an episode of his show that this isn't even fun. Like, he's like, I've been up for 4 days drunk and this isn't even fun at this point. But yeah, fucking I really feel bad for Bam because I want to see that dude like do good. Like, cuz I really think he's one of the more creative and funny and fucking interesting characters in all of Jackass, and his CKY shit is so fucking legendary. It would have been fucking dope if he just kept doing shit. Like, one of the more fascinating parts of the journey in listening to Radio Bam is how many times YouTube gets brought up and how Bam is so like just kind of anti-technology.
Yeah.
He's like editing Ming Hags.
Ew, did you just fart?
Stevo, did you do your fart gimmick? I think she did. I don't smell anything, but
Bruh.
I believe you.
No, because she just left.
Because she does that thing where Stevo does this thing where she comes up and sits on you and farts and then leaves. Like a real crop dusting asshole.
She's been laying here for like 40 minutes and she just farted and left. You fucking hoe.
Yo, yeah, Stevo's actual rap track with Violent J is going to make Bam hella jealous. I don't know. I don't even think Bam's a fan of rap, especially listening to these old episodes. I don't think Bam really likes rap music. In fact, I know he doesn't like rap music because he kind of says that and makes fun of it a bunch of times on that show. Like Bam's verse is like recycled Narkill lyrics, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Anyway, I forgot where I was going with my Bam shit. Yeah, Bam, I just want to see Bam do good. Oh, Ming Hags, Bam's lack of awareness with technology. So he's editing the movie Ming Hags on a fucking old school editing machine like the Avid or whatever the fuck. He's editing on like the old school version of that. And he ends up almost losing all the footage for Ming Hags. And like it's just like, dude, why wouldn't you get like go digital at this point?
Yeah.
Like I don't understand it. And like YouTube is like right there in his face. It's so obvious Bam should have made the transition into YouTube. Like that's clearly what he should have done. Like Stevo's doing right now.
Yeah.
Bam could do exactly what Stevo is doing right now and be killing it. Probably killing it even harder than Stevo is. But Bam's more obsessed with doing this party thing, being a perpetual child and shit, man. And it sucks to see because there's clearly like a creative drive with Bam. And like, I don't know, I just wish he would have kept dropping shit is basically where I'm going with that. Let's see. Let me see where the images is at, and then I'm going to continue with my notes. Yeah, we're in the music stuff. This new Lil Wayne track was pretty fresh. We listened to that in the car. Lil Wayne has a new single called Cat Food that had some pretty creative viral marketing. I saw him in an Instagram video, had people hanging up flyers for a missing cat in New Orleans, I assume. Doja Cat has a new video with Christina Ricci that Dana Dentata was big mad about. Dana Dentata also big mad about Violent J and kind of lashing out in her stories again. I was gonna like read that shit, but I decided
big mad at Doja?
Because she says that Doja Cat has ripped off this artist named Big Clit for this new song, this new video with Christina Ricci. Where the video looks fresh as shit. She's like all deviled out and like crawling around the fucking ceiling and the walls and shit. Very spooky, scary. Yeah, Dana Dentata big mad in her stories. Talking hella shit about Jay though. Kind of invalidating Jay's mourning process.
Wow.
You already know why. If you guys have been watching the Humble Among broadcast system, you guys already know why. We've been following a little bit of that Dana Dentata shit here for a minute. Lil Peep and McConan finally dropping a single for their project that they did fucking years ago. And the full project is finally dropping as well. The song that dropped on Friday, I think, yesterday. I still haven't heard this. Dropped yesterday, it looks like. And the song is called November. The project is called Diamonds. And I think, let me show you guys this shit.
That picture is so
I know, I want to show you this stuff. Not that. This.
That picture is so fucking cute. Oh.
There's a track list here. But yeah, they even like reworked one of these songs and like put XXXTentacion on it with Peep. Here's the track list. And there's a documentary right here. Is a whole documentary that we need to watch about the making of that album. We need to watch that. But here's the Diamonds track list, which I love that it's a longer album. Like that's a fucking album. Like it feels like they're just giving you everything for this, which I really appreciate. And I think that's the album cover. That looks like that's probably the album cover right there. No, I don't think there was a date for it, was there? Yeah, I'm not seeing a date here. But yeah, this article's about Peep's mom. Because Peep's mom basically is in control of his estate at this point. But yeah, very excited, very happy that album is coming out. McConan, what the fuck happened to McConan in the last few years? Has that dude even dropped music?
I don't think so.
Boy, that's a guy that the Drake curse really fucked over. God damn, the Drake curse hit him fucking hard, dude. I kind of feel bad for McConan because was he popping that one summer when he was coming out. That shit was so fucking popping.
Let me tell you something. Even my mom loves the song Tuesday. My mother loves.
And that style, man. That style was so fucking interesting.
Facts.
I was so fucking obsessed with that dude when he was first coming out. I hope this Peep and McConan album actually revitalizes him a little bit. In more music news, Eminem got real mad that this Republican presidential candidate, Vivek Ramaswamy, I don't know if I'm saying that right, used Lose Yourself while on the campaign trail and rapping poorly along to it. Now, I want to show you guys that clip of that, but I mean, it's Eminem, so I'm definitely going to get a copyright strike if I find that clip. But BMI, Eminem's publishing company, sent him a very strongly worded letter, and the dude basically has to stop using Eminem's music.
That's lit.
Really sending a lot of conservative, right-leaning people online into a anti-Eminem frenzy. I don't know if you guys have seen a lot of anti-Eminem political talk, but that's, I believe, largely why a lot of that is going on right now, other than his just normal shit talk about Trump that Eminem's kind of on. Eminem's been a more left-leaning rapper for a while now. Oh, yeah, we're going to talk about this because I think this might be next. Yeah, okay. So Twiztid, in a move of shocking unoriginality, and Blaze have teamed up with a DJ named DJ Godzilla to craft a copycat project called Odyssey that, I mean, I don't see how anyone could see it as anything but a fucking copycat project of Three-Headed Monster.
What is Odyssey about?
It is shameless. It is fucking shameless.
It's literally about... That's ridiculous.
I mean, it is fucking shameless. And I don't know if... I haven't heard the song that came out for this. There's a single that dropped. But I did hear the beat that is playing during the promo music for one of these posts about this shit. And... I mean, it's a sound-alike of that kind of... I mean, obviously, they're trying to do, like, Pharoah Monch style fucking beats for that fucking shit. But it is a sound-alike of, like, some of those fucking songs. I joked online that with this drop, that M&E is really proving that they are the official psychopathic Wish company, which is a joke from Emily at Camp Zool 1. We walked into Camp Zool, and this is within 5 minutes. We haven't even gone inside the building where they have the fucking stage set up.
At this point, I had only been to what, Hallowicked?
Yes. This is after you've been to Hallowicked, and that's the only Juggalo show you had been to at that point. Yeah. You had experienced Hallowicked, and that was it.
Yeah, but I knew more about Juggalos because of my older brother. So when we got to Camp Zool, we like walked in to like the venue, and I started looking around, and I was like, these guys just seem like Juggalos from Wish.
And I started laughing because that shit's kind of fucking accurate. But yeah, I don't really have anything else to say about it. Definitely really kind of pathetic at this point that they're really going to the level of like just so shamelessly like copycatting. There's a movie company called like Asylum that we just saw. We were watching something that was Asylum.
Oh my
involved.
God, what was that?
The fuck was it? A documentary about it or something?
I don't remember.
But like they make like Sharknado and like stuff like that. But they also make a lot of copycat movies like Transmorphers and like when Transformers were coming out and shit. They're basically the Asylum psychopathic. Like they just like, well, what are they doing? Let's have something where maybe we can trick someone into listening to our music because they think it. We have Three-Headed Monster at home. Exactly.
I'm crying.
Three-Headed Monster at home is this. But yeah, man, I don't know. I know a lot of people in the Juggalodium like Twiztid. I'm sorry I don't like Twiztid. After that fucking Outshine shit, it really was hard for me to even listen to Twiztid. I straight up can't even really listen to it anymore.
As someone that listened to their music without a bias, a knowledge of the history, or anything, I hate.
Yeah, you've not been a fan at all, even before I told you anything about them.
Yeah, facts.
That off-brand shit. I see the comments in the chat. That Great Value brand, that Kirkland, that off-brand shit. Okay, yeah, big facts. Let's continue to some real Juggalo shit. Let's get into some real Juggalo shit now. Juggalo Aftershock will be going down in England, and London, in fact. Off the cuff London, September 9th. I believe the first 100 people get a free exclusive, I think it's called Juff Slayer EP from Umo. So definitely go to that shit if you were in London. First 100 people get a free fucking CD just for going to this shit. New single with Frankie Goldie Acetone and Shaggy the Airhead called Carnival Soup. Dropping, I believe, next Friday. Yeah, next Friday this shit is dropping. This shit dropped. I have not gotten a chance to listen to this, but this is another example of rather hilarious misreporting from other inferior Juggalo YouTube programs. This was reported by another Juggalo YouTube channel as being an Insane Clown Posse song produced by Devereaux with someone named Codex. This is an MC Lars song with someone named Cowboy Coder, and Devereaux did do the beat, called Oppenheimer. And it is a World War II history song, but Insane Clown Posse has nothing to do with this song. So another very classic example of misreporting. This is why the Humble Among broadcast system should be your number one trusted Juggalo news source. Don't trust any pale imitations of this product. All right. Anyway, let's continue. In other Devereaux single news, Devereaux dropped this Massacre remix. I think last time I was like, what song is Massacre? I'm a fucking idiot. It's a OUIJA MACC song from Stalewind called Massacre that is remixed by Devereaux, by Devereaux.
Deborah.
Really fucking dope. Did you listen to this yet?
Mm-mm.
Emily has not gotten a chance to listen to this yet. I've listened to this a couple of times. Really fucking dope little remix.
It's really hard because at work I have to play non-explicit music.
Yeah.
So all the music that.
But you be sneaking some shit.
Facts.
You be sneaking some shit.
Sometimes I do be sneaking some shit.
In other Juggalo music release related news, Young Fiend dropped his music video for Rage, which is a music video that they shot at the gathering of the Juggalos that I took part of. You can see my green ass head not knowing what to do in several shots of this music video, and you can see a shot of me vibing out to Sugar Hill Gang that Strife strategically edited to make it look like I was vibing out to the song. But yeah, go check out Young Fiend's Rage. That's a really fucking dope song and a dope music video. I like Young Fiend a lot. And Strife shot and edited the music video. Very fucking cool little gathering vibe. If you want some gathering vibes, go check out that music video. Shot at Team MUJ's camp, by the way. Shouts out to Team MUJ, by the way. They are live right now. They just went live at 8 o'clock. My apologies for going into y'all's time. We were trying to go live a little bit earlier, but you know how it is. This bitch got to make herself look party over here. So we're sorry for going into your time. We don't mean to do that shit on purpose. Let's see what else we got. Of course, Darby O'Trill, The Creek, still out. Hex, Tales of a Cursed G, still out. Go check those out. Shaggy the Airhead dropped. Another Lazy and Crazy drop. This time on some N64 3D type beat. Very 3D'd out.
He done told us that we was gonna get some girl shit. Now where the fuck is that shit? Ouija came through with the big shit.
That's exactly where I'm going next, because we're gonna go into OUIJA MACC shit. OUIJA MACC did drop his first piece of big bitch clothing this week with the spaghetti strap shit. He also announced a new album with Trizz. He's been teasing that shit for a while. Coronella. We got a lot of stuff to talk about with Coronella here that I'm going to transition to now. But yeah, if you go to chapter17.com, which I will go to here in a second. Actually, just do that shit now.
No, Ashel, he just said he was going to make girl stuff, not big bitch shit. But I'm still waiting
for just girl stuff in general we're waiting for.
He did say girl shit,
he did say in a post that...
Where it at, Shaggy?
Skirt, skirt! Could you guys hear that squeal out?
Literally, everybody has to show their tire penises at this fucking stop in front of our house. It's so annoying.
All right, so here's all the Coronella packs. Got mad different pre-order options. You can buy a lot of that stuff separately as well. There's the new mask. Oh, that must be the hat he was talking about. He was saying that there was a new hat up that I didn't see yet. That must be the new hat he was talking about as well. These fucking masks are stupid hard. This one especially with the fucking hatchet man on the head. I'm probably going to get both of these fucking masks when we put our order in for your spaghetti strap. And hopefully, yes, that right there. I'm also going to get a copy, maybe 2 copies of Apogee as well when we put our order in. And see, fuck dog, I got to get the Hex out, the new Hex album too. I might just buy that at the show. I think we're trying to go to the Shaggy 2 Dope show in Worcester, so Hex should be opening that shit, right? So I'm hoping I can get that shit there. Okay, close that out and we'll continue because now.
Love you, Andrew.
Hey, thank you, Ponix. Thank you for tuning in and joining us for a little while. All right, I'm gonna get into OUIJA MACC Facebook Live stuff. Before he officially announced Coronella, he was basically unofficially announcing it on Facebook Live. I think this was Tuesday or Wednesday this week. The old OUIJA Mackerton went live on Facebook like he'd be doing every couple of months, usually to tease a project or promote a project. This time it was to do a little bit of both. Promoting a lot of Juggalo Ohio on this. 2 nights, 2 different sets once again. He said he thinks Cleveland might take the lead for Juggalo Ohio 3. This Juggalo Ohio 2, though, is in a bigger venue. He says new announcement for an album coming soon. Wants to play some new music off this new album in the stream. The album with Trizz seems to be the album he's referring to. And then he drops the name Coronella on this fucking stream. Then he plays a song called Smoke Dope, which I'm gonna play for y'all right now. But first, I gotta figure out. If it'll let me. I don't think it is gonna let me. Let me see if I can do it the other way.
I'm about to drop. I'm about to do an album.
Let's see if this will work. Well, I'm just gonna play it. I don't think it's super important you see the visual
Release
anyway.
date announcement very motherfucking soon. I want to play some music off this album that I'm about to drop. Because I like to do that, you know? I like to give the motherfuckers that pull up to the live that really care about what's going on a chance to hear shit before everybody else. Because I feel like that's, you know, that's the OUIJA MACC thing to do. A big shout out to Trizz. For those who don't know, me and Trizz got an album. It's called Coronella, and it's coming. Official announcement very soon. Smoke dope, bitch. Smoke dope, smoke dope. I make sure my brothers ain't broke. We ain't broke. Smoke dope, bitch. Smoke dope, smoke dope. I kick it so high I might float, might float. Smoke dope, bitch. Smoke dope, smoking dope. Rolling in that bridge like a goat, like a goat. Smoke dope, bitch. Smoke dope, smoke dope. I kick it so high I might float, might float.
Yeah, she like the jeans that send me the jeans in me. She like to call me Trizz if we drinking, smoking and stizzy. I'm drowning in this Henny every day, so I be dizzy. They know I like to get litty and trip on niggas like 50. You gotta have some chillin' to kick you with the committee. I'm from the West, really, they know me all through the city. The Grimmy got me ready to die like Blinky. Me and Philly smoking Phillies, we travel cause we be busy. Smoking dope, feeling like I sniffed some cocaine. I'm numb and I feel no pain, I'm confident with no shame. All the gangsters in my circle, it ain't no lanes. Feeling like a broke controller, ain't playing no games. Bitch, I'm hotter than the 80s in the dope game. If you ain't getting no money, you playing in the wrong game. Niggas hate on me and shit cause they got no name. I'm getting so much money, I don't care I got no fame.
Dope, bitch. Smoke dope, smoke dope. I make sure my brothers ain't broke. Smoke dope, bitch. Smoke dope. I think it's so high I might float. Smoke dope, bitch. Smoke dope, smoking dope. Rolling in that bridge like a goat. Smoke dope, bitch. Smoke dope, smoke dope. I think it's so high I might float. Marijuana from the doctor, put it in the air. Cause I'm thinking that I might have to put the bitch in there. Mash out, put some wind in that silky hair. Filthy player, but she fucking love it cause she with a square. Who's that midget there? Wrist on Frigidaire. Bullshit that you tripping on. Ask me if I give a care. I be perving and swerving in traffic, getting stares. Ganja got me twice as retarded, already living paired. The lid that burn like hot sauce. Me and Trizz really got the jumping like hopscotch. 17 racks on my baby like Oshkosh. British thoughts flop. I don't fuck if she not posh. Let me slow my roll. She sucked the spirit out my nigga. Mama stole my soul.
That fucking line's hard.
Then I show my go. But if it's not, I'm in the spot and I'ma blow my load. Smoke dope, bitch. Smoke dope, smoke dope. I make sure my brothers ain't broke. Smoke dope, bitch. Smoke dope, smoke dope.
You know what the fuck it is?
All right. Shouts out to Ouija Mac. Go check that out on the live stream on Facebook, by the way. Ouija played all those fucking songs, so I figure it's no fucking big deal. Hopefully it's no big deal that I'm playing this shit, too, because I wanted y'all to hear this shit. And this shit is on his Facebook Live, so you can go watch that whole stream. Let's see, where was I? Smoke Dope. Let's see. Continuing on, full announcement soon. He did fucking, I think, announce that shit like 2 days later. I think he announced it officially yesterday. Balaclavas and hats and spaghetti straps are all up on Chapter 17, which we already showed y'all. Talks about the second leg of Three-Headed Monster Tour about to kick off, and he goes through those dates. Ouija doing 2 fucking tours back-to-back, essentially. Doing the Three-Headed Monster Tour, and then really just starting Revelations right the fuck after. That shit's pretty fucking crazy. Ouija says, going through these dates, they go into Canada a couple of times. Ouija says he's hella nervous about going into Canada. Says he's a felon from when he used to be a bad boy.
How
and that
long ago?
he paid a lawyer a bunch of money and took some rehabilitation classes. So now he would be considered a good boy, hopefully, and be allowed into Canada.
So my sister, she was going to visit my brother in Japan. They had a layover in Canada.
Yeah.
And when my sister tried to cross the border,
They didn't let her.
they said, you need to turn the fuck around, and if you ever try to come back to Canada again, we're throwing you directly in jail.
Canada. Now,
And
what was it with your sister? Some stuff for
She
her
has
legal record?
multiple drug charges.
Word.
She went to jail for fighting a cop. I mean, it's...
So they don't play with certain charges, like DUIs and shit. They really don't play.
She fought a cop, so...
Yeah, that might be it. Hopefully it doesn't fuck Ouija over. Especially if he paid a lawyer a bunch of money and shit. Let's see. But yeah, he's very nervous, he says on that stream. He seemed nervous straight up. He goes through let's see. Going into the Revelations tour, he goes through all those dates as well. Ouija does confirm that the blurred date is Hallowicked. He kinda confirms it. But we all fucking knew that.
Facts.
Says he thinks he missed some of the dates on the Revelations tour while going through all of them on the stream. Says that he's just a juggalo trying to drive a spaceship, that he's not a smart man, and that he's not an alien, he swears. Says he really gives a big fuck about Juggalo Ohio too. He's putting a lot of work into that shit. Now is a good time to buy tickets, and hotels are cheap apparently. I saw someone say a ridiculous price of $12 for their hotel room in the chat. I don't know if that's fucking real, but I did see that scroll by.
I paid $17 for
a hotel room?
a Super 17.
Yeah, Super 17.
Yeah.
I see what you did there.
My knee hurts.
No. Well, try to reposition. Do that. Is that good?
Yeah.
There we go.
Oh, that is good.
That is good?
That's real good.
Okay. Let's see. But yeah, we really got to get on our shit. We need to get our hotels organized and get the Juggalo Ohio fucking tickets. I'm gonna try to do that this weekend.
Look at Stevo looking at us right now. Oh my God,
Stevo is just fucking waiting for us to be done.
She was glaring.
I went out. I'm gonna continue on with this shit because we got a couple more songs to play from this live stream. He kind of ended this with 2 more songs. This next song, let's see. We'll just do the same gimmick again.
God damn it, Terry. Jeez. Flippin' jeez. When I hit the highway, ash and I'm ghost. Looking at me sideways, bitch, you get roast. I just landed down in London, really eating vegan stones. Loot for the FBI, tapping on my phone. Really international. I'm really international. Really international. I'm really international. I'm really international. Everywhere I got my pole, everything is getting sold. I get it everywhere I go. I'm really international. I'm out the country blowing G's, smoking weed. I'm in Bordeaux performing, getting this shit. Nigga, please give a fuck if it's on lock. I got the keys, I got tricks up my sleeve. With money, I pay the fees. Niggas bleed. These pussies ain't scaring me, I'm gonna feed. I eat up all the hate, my bank account full of G's, so take heed. I'm the medicine, get. Coronella is coming. OUIJA MACC, Trizz, the fucking album. I fucking love this album. I can't even tell you. This shit, like, it just hits different, bro. You wish you lived overseas. Speaking languages, niggas ain't never win. I'm the definition of evil, I'm evil. I get paranoid around a lot of people. The first to ever do it like I do it ain't no sequel. It's money and ambition in the future, I'm the prequel. Highway, ash and I'm ghost. Looking at me sideways, bitch, you get ropes. I just made it down.
I think he stops this before he plays his verse.
I'm really international. Really international. I'm really international. I'm really international. Everywhere I got my pole, everything is getting sold. I get it everywhere I go. I'm really international. Oh!
Yeah, he does. I'm pretty sure he's
Terry.
gonna start playing it again.
Terry.
Yeah, he starts playing the next one here. But then he like talks and bullshits a little bit. So we'll just go right into that next one.
Hey, shout out to CC Hankinius. See you in Mesa.
I'm an outcast, I was sad, I was young. I'm on my own.
Shout out to Stephen Hicks in this bitch. I will see you at Juggalo, Ohio, dog.
They ain't taking nothing from me, I was dusty. Until I got some bitches and some money. Life is a joke, but none of this shit is funny. Niggas bummy. They broke as fuck on me, they tryna drug me. This bitch is real ugly, and I still let her fuck me. Stumbling in public, nigga, fuck it, I be drunk. I drank out of tequila and
heavy on the West Coast
trunk, I be
vibes,
stuck.
obviously.
I know it's more than chronic in a blood. What the fuck? Even in the recession, I get a blunt. Can't get enough. I take it to the head, I be fucked. She gotta give me the head if this bitch tryna fuck. I ain't never concentrate cause I be choked out. ADHD got me paranoid and I be smoked out. I'm overseas smoking weed, what you know about? Hiding bitches from my wife.
Woo! Trizz, OUIJA MACC, album, coming, the announcement, the release date, all that shit, very fucking soon.
September 22nd, by the way, is the release date. I think I forgot to say that.
Can't stop my bag, bitch. Can't stop my bag. ones only. Why the fuck you think Trizz with me? Yeah, fucking the cut, you bitch. I bring this with me. You can't stop my bag. Never in my life did I drop my flag. Still a slightly ass doctor with my pants on sag. And the hatchet man here, why the fuck y'all mad? Get off of me, bitch. I get broccoli. Oh, won't stop at the clip. Just hit literally. Oh, nobody wanted me, huh? Nobody's stopping me. So if you ain't about it, gonna get the fuck from me. An outcast. Can't stop my bag, bitch. Can't stop my bag. Label me an outcast. Can't stop my bag, bitch.
All right, just running the hook one more time. So there's a couple of tracks from the new OUIJA and Trizz that he played on his Facebook Live. Basically, after that, yeah, he basically says more Cornell. He promotes Creek, Tales of a Cursed G, promotes Coronella again. Says they really did something special with this project. Earlier in the stream, I think y'all heard that in one of those song clips. He says it just hit different. It just hits different.
Papa just said.
September 22nd, though, on some West Coast shit. But real quick, what did Poppy say? Poppy say?
He
Papa?
said-
Papo?
He said
Poppy?
this shit hits hard as fuck.
Yeah, that shit's gonna be fucking. That's gonna be some West Coast shit.
I'm so.
I saw. I think it was Davey brought up the Davey course. The Davey. God damn it, I'm fucking mush mouth now. The Brother Lynch Hung feature on the opera. That shit fucking definitely has me excited. Hex is on the track. This is gonna be a fucking dope project. September 22nd release date for Coronella. Let's get into the rest of this shit. Yeah, I love that Brother Lynch Hung is on a track. That shit is fucking fire. Can't wait to hear that. Juggalo Ohio 2, OUIJA was promoting the hell out of that in that live stream. The Revelations tour. But before that is the Three-Headed Monster tour kicking off in just a few days. I think on the 7th it says there. The Shaggy Tudo tour kicking off about the fucking same time. Shaggy Tudo right now is out at the float. The float going on right fucking now.
Modest Mouse is performing.
At the float?
One song.
Oh, got me again with that joke. Yo, fuck. Before that even, yeah, right. Oh, during, I guess, their touring experience of that. Let's see. ICP shows up on Saturday. So what was that? The 10th, I think it was. Whatever. This is that the fucking date? 9th. So ICP will be appearing on the 9th at Blue Ridge at this club experience shit. Shit, is that the first day of Three-Headed Monster tour as well? Did Jay double book that shit? No. I'm thinking that's the Shaggy one then, right? Am I thinking?
Frankie Goldie, member for 2 months. Zardog fears Gloom Unit.
No, it's 8. What's Gloom Unit?
Me when I'm mad.
Is that a Gloom Unit? Sounds familiar. Oh, is Gloom Unit fucking? Is that fucking Stripes gimmick? Is that Stripes wrestling gimmick? I think that's Stripes wrestling gimmick. Gloom Patrol? Is that Stripes wrestling gimmick? What is Gloom Unit? Why does that sound so familiar to me?
Figure it out.
I'll figure it out at some point. Are you guys a fan of Andre Nicotina? That's the Killer Whale dude.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we definitely fuck with Andre.
He is also the I Drive a Chevrolet movie theater.
Yeah, that song's fucking hard as shit. All right. So yeah, Shaggy has the 8th as the start of the second leg of his tour. So they are just dancing around some of these dates. Then they have I don't know what day they're doing the Riot Fest, but they are also doing this shit as well. Oh wait, I guess that is on here.
Soup.
That they're doing Saturday as well. So the 16th of that shit. Yo, we talked about the Carnival Soup dropping next week, Frankie. Definitely excited to hear that shit. Carnival Soup dropping on the 8th. Next week, next Friday. Soup's in the chat. You ever watch Talk Soup or The Soup back in the day? That was a good show.
Yeah,
I fucked with that show.
sure did.
So the float going on right now, as y'all know, Shaggy Two Dope, Hex, Kung Fu Vampire, Cheese House, a bunch of other motherfucking artists. LSP is up in there, Scum, Smalls One, Class, a bunch of motherfuckers over there. Shouts out to everybody at the float. Be safe out there. Hopefully we can make it out to the float one of these times. I want to check out what the vibes are like at the float. HalloWicked also coming up. There's so many events coming up. Hopefully we can be at HalloWicked. It's definitely very up in the air at this point. I don't know if we're going to be able to swing it, honestly, but I'm still kind of trying to be hopeful about it. All right, we talked last episode about these other 2 podcast appearances. I'm going to get to the end of the show now, where I talk about 3 Violent J podcast appearances. Last time we talked about the 69-minute Eargasm and Violent J's interview on this Battleground podcast, which is another wrestling podcast. Tonight we're going to be talking about, by the way, he was promoting the 75th anniversary show on both of those wrestling podcasts. He took a selfie with fucking Billy Corgan. And if you watched last time, we talked about him talking about maybe doing a music collaboration with Billy, getting Billy on a hook or some shit. I think that would be really fresh. It's really cool that he got a fucking selfie with Corgan. Violent J was attacked by Vampiro, from what I understand, and got a pie in the face at the event. The match with Vampiro's dudes, I don't know if that fucking went down. I'm still confused with the booking of that. But anyway, Violent J was on 3 podcasts this past week. We talked a little bit about this last time. I hadn't listened to it yet, but they were apparently promoting an early release version of it. I think this is like goes on their Patreon or some shit first or something, but it did drop early in the week, and I'm going to go through my notes on that now. This is the Sex, Drugs, and Rock and Roll podcast on Gas Digital. SDR Show on YouTube if you want to go listen to the full thing, watch the full thing. Jay has a weird mark in his camera, pixels missing. He has to get on another camera real quick. And for some reason, the show does not edit any of this shit out. The hosts then banter awkwardly while they wait for Jay to get on another camera. He seemed normal enough, is a quote from one of the hosts there. They seem really nervous that he's going to come back. Almost 5 minutes go by before Jay comes back. Hosts saying that they had weird interviews with Gene Simmons and Chris Jericho in the past, and they were a little worried that he might not even come back or whatever. I guess they had tried to set up another interview with Jay previously too, which they go in later. They talk a little bit about LL Cool J giving Jay props, how bizarre it is. Jay also says it's very bizarre seeing Drake wearing a Ringmaster jersey, how it's not like a newer or a more known Joker's card, how it's like fucking Ringmaster, like a slightly more obscure Joker's card, which is a good fucking point. Jay does say he thinks there's no way he knew who that was or knows what they are or what it is he's wearing. I think he might know at least who ICP is, and he probably knows at least like on a surface level what he's wearing. And I think the hosts even bring up like there's no way like a rapper that big like doesn't like check what he's wearing, you know what I mean? Jay says he thinks that Drake is the biggest rapper in the world. We said that on here. Drake is definitely the biggest rapper in the world. Let's see. Host guy says that LL has to know all the names on the screen there when talking about the LL Cool J screen thing, which we talked about last time as well. Jay says it's dope to get the mainstream props that he's getting. Host guy 1 says host guy 2 is a big fan. Let's see. They do talk about trying to make it happen before the gathering and how it's now after the gathering and how I guess Jay's power went out last time they tried to do this. So that must be why they were a little nervous at the beginning. I guess they play a little clip their producer guy had painted up last time in hopes that Jay would be on. And they play that little clip of the producer guy painting up and being very sad that he couldn't talk with Violent J. I think Big J Okerson was also there last time, but he is not there this time for this interview. Gas Digital is like Big J's network, from what I understand. Host guy mentions that starting in wrestling and how their first record was recording on a karaoke machine. Jay starts talking about the wrestling dream and the whole coming full circle, knowing that they would be wrestlers one day. Host guy too says that he's wrestled. He's more of a manager type character, though. Mentions that he had a death match at some point. Jay says that's one more death match than I'll ever have. Jay apparently never going to be doing a death match. Jay's probably done death match-esque shit. I know he's at least gotten color. I think his retirement match, he got fucking color. Host guy says my bad. Host guy asks about Gene Simmons ever suing ICP and brings up a story. Apparently, Kiss/Gene sued King Diamond for using makeup and I guess using just the makeup. Gene tried to sue them for looking too much like them. Jay says no, he's never gotten sued by Kiss or Gene Simmons. They're not influenced by Kiss at all, he said, maybe other than the little bit of the look or whatever. I think that's obvious. The look is a little bit inspired by him. Jay says back in the day they talked about it, but not now. I got a little ahead of myself. About touring without the makeup. Like Kiss toured without the makeup. Jay says that they did think about doing that back in the day, but not now. He compared his makeup to Marilyn Manson and how that's just how, like, Manson looks. Like, when Manson goes out in public, he's always kind of made up, and that's just how his gimmick is. Pretty much they do commit to using the makeup at all times in public. I think that's really cool. They're so committed to that shit. He says the makeup works for them and against them. Host guy 2 interjects about the magazine cover from back in the day with the four different covers and where you could actually see their faces if you like aligned the magazines back in the day. I forget what magazine that was. I think it was Alternative Press. It could be a different magazine. I'm pretty sure it was Alternative Press back in the day. Which I think, ironically, the podcast we're going to be talking about next is an Alternative Press branded podcast. Let's see. Host guy 1 asks when Jay noticed the positive tide changing for Insane Clown Posse. Jay then tells the story about Vanilla Ice in Detroit. Talks about that whole experience. I think that we talked about a couple of times now with going out there and getting a positive reaction from Ice's fans. Also mentions that the critics in press have all rolled over. There's now different critics in press out there writing for these websites and shit, which I think is a great point. I think that's a big part of why they're getting different kinds of press nowadays. It's different people writing about them. Whereas the old press that they used to piss off back in the day, they're not writing for some of these outlets. Host guy 2 says ICP is something like Guar, where you just have to witness it once. And that them being cool with being made fun of with the whole miracles thing helped them. Jay gives love to the Juggalos and says that's how they survived, though. Jay says, let's see. There are 4 people that pick the acts for the gathering of the Juggalos. Him, Shags, Jay and Shags, Jump Steady, and Billy Bill. Sometimes Jump Steady has ideas that Jay doesn't like or doesn't want him to do. And Jump Steady does that shit anyway. I really wish he would have given an example of that shit. I think they might have asked for an example, but Jay kind of brushes that over.
Said it was Blender Magazine.
Was it Blender Magazine? Thank you, Papa. Thank you, Papa. They definitely were on AP back in the day, though, right? It was probably, yeah, I think it was Blender Magazine. Thank you, Papa. Let's see. They talk about the porta potties issue at the gathering of the Juggalos, with struggling sometimes to get porta potty rentals. Jay talks about how all the porta potty companies talk to each other and how the word got around that, like, yeah, you don't want to go there. Your potties are going to get fucking destroyed. But they always eventually work something out and gets them. But Jay says if there's no porta potties, there's no gathering. And once again, I got to give props. This last gathering, porta potties, best they've ever been. Best they ever been, hands down.
I will say that is the difference between me getting a UTI and then a kidney infection last year to this year being completely fine because I was not holding in
Yeah.
my pee.
They were really clean. I think the company they hired was really good. And they didn't seem too destroyed. I mean, your standard graffiti and all that shit, but
No, they were good.
they I don't think anyone got blown the fuck up. They did do AP as well. Okay. I thought I could have sworn they were on an AP cover from back in the day.
And Murder Dog.
Yeah, they definitely were on Murder Dog a couple of fucking times. Shouts out to Murder Dog. That's a fucking cool magazine from back in the day. Let's see. Jay talks a little shit about bad eggs. Let's see. Yeah, we're all a family, but we're the bad kids of the family. Talks about like the people who vandalizing shit being those type of people who shoot fireworks at them on stage and shit. He does talk a little shit about that. He tells a story, and I think he was talking about this past year's gathering while telling this story. He saw footage from this year's gathering of Juggalos using the giant slingshots, which is a pretty fucking common thing at the gathering, honestly. And they were doing the giant slingshot to stuff on stage, and that upset Jay and Jump Steady when they saw that shit. How the thing that upset him the most was how all the other Juggalos were just standing around and not doing anything. But I'm like, I don't know, the slingshots are pretty harmless. It's mostly like the fireworks and shit you probably got to worry about, because it's mostly, in my experience, it's mostly water balloons that get shot out of those slingshots. Maybe a water bottle. Yeah. I mean, those are mostly pretty harmless. Anyway, Host Guy 1 asks about how many sodas they have to go through till they found the one that didn't harm equipment, which very nerdy question. Jay talks about them growing up with Fago, tells the whole Fago first night story about them going on stage, and there's a guy in the crowd flipping them off, and he says Shaggy is the one that grabbed the bottle of Fago and threw it at him, and Jay followed suit, and Fago has been a thing ever since. Host Guy 2 asks, what's the best flavor of Fago in Jay's opinion, and why is it Rockin' Rye? Jay says he likes grape and moon mist the best. Host Guy 1 asks about weight loss and how much weight Jay lost. Jay says he's gone up and down his whole life with the weight, but he says he's been really heavy like twice in his life. Says he just doesn't eat when it comes to trying to lose weight. That's his tactic for losing weight. Maybe just has a Caesar salad or something throughout the day, but mostly just not eating. He talks a little bit about depression here. Host Guy asks about the Bigfoot story from the other Bigfoot podcast we talked about 3-4 episodes ago there. Jay been on quite the podcast spree, by the way. Jay tells the Bigfoot story again very briefly about going and screaming Ultimate Warrior on top of the hill every night and seeing what he thought was a monster at the time and only realizing years later that it could have been a Bigfoot. Host Guy 1 asks about collabs they never released or collabs that they want to make happen. Jay says that he's been wanting to do a collab with Eddie Vedder for 20 years now. And that he has tried multiple times, multiple different ways to get word to Eddie Vedder. Like, dude, can we please do a song together? Which I think is so, I love that he actually admitted that shit. Because he is obviously a huge Eddie Vedder mark. Talks about Eddie Vedder and Pearl Jam quite a bit. I love that story. That's one of the funniest parts of the damn thing. He even offered to pay his choice of a charity to get on a song with him. Jay says that the best collabs are the ones that happen out of respect, though. That's why he has a problem with the whole slingshot video. Because to take the all right, that was why. To take the gathering gig is almost a nod of respect. So you're like disrespecting the I think I see the string of logic there. I forget. Should have probably taken better notes on that part.
Has he talked about riffraff in any of these?
No,
podcasts?
I don't think so. I don't think the riffraff thing has gotten. I wonder if that slingshot video is riffraff though he's referring to, because yeah, I think he felt like insulted that like sometimes it's like people they want to be there and that
facts.
Like, oh, we really wanted them to kill it, but you guys didn't fuck with it. Like,
Facts.
I think that's kind of what he was getting
Facts.
at.
I can see that.
Let's see. Here we go. Host Guy 1 asks about any new talent coming up in the underground, and Jay immediately mentions Shaggy the Airhead. Jay says that Shaggy the Airhead is a prodigy.
Prodigy.
What did I just?
Prodigy.
Prodigy. God damn it. He's a prodigy. Prodigy. God damn it. I'm a fucking dyslexic mess. Host Guy 1 asks about the gang lawsuit and selling merch in stores, how that affected their ability to be in Hot Topic. Jay says they're still not back in Hot Topic. They do have a couple of shirts on HotTopic.com, but they're like shadow banned almost. You have to like get sneaky with your searches to find them, but they are still up there. I actually checked on Hot Topic earlier this week to make sure, and that shit is up there, but it's like shadow banned. If you search Insane Clown Posse on HotTopic.com, you can't find it. The only reason I found it is because it was in my previously looked at items, and I was able to click on it there and see that it is still in stock.
I'll be back.
She's laying down, y'all.
I'll be back. I just need to stretch it out.
Okay. They ask about Howard Stern, all their appearances on Howard Stern back in the day, and they say that Howard Stern was obsessed with them, and if he's still obsessed with them. They obviously haven't been on Stern in years, so I think Howard has, if he was obsessed, he's lost his obsession. But I think it's more Howard has gotten quite more PC and calmed down since his America's Got Talent run. Jay says he doesn't think that he was obsessed with them, but Howard liked to see them get mad and like to rile them up on air. Host Guy 2 says that he was sold on Insane Clown Posse when he saw Big Money Hustlers, and he calls it the best comedy, one of the best comedies in the past 30 years, which I love. He gives that movie props because it is dope. He says Jay wrote one of the best comedies of the past 30 years. I love that he gave him those props. He asks about any behind-the-scenes stories, and Jay just kind of says that, you know, the crew really was not down with them. The crew really clearly didn't want to be there, but they still made it fresh because Jay and Twiztid and all of them were having a fucking blast shooting the movie. Host Guy 1 asks if they want to do any more movies, and Jay says that he wants to do one more, Big Money Thrusters. Now, before, when asked about Big Money Thrusters, Jay has always kind of been, we're not doing it. It's never going to happen. This is the first time that he's kind of now back on board with doing it. Now, the big issue with Big Money Thrusters, obviously, is what would they do with Twiztid? I think at this point, what you do with Twiztid is you cast Hex and OUIJA MACC in the roles of Big Poot and Lil Stank, or whatever the fuck. Lil Poot, Big Stank? Is that the fucking names? Lil Poot and Big Stank. Cast Hex and fucking OUIJA MACC, and you got it. You got that movie. But he says he wants to do no more after that. In more upcoming podcast news, he does bring up Harlan Williams and says that he thinks he's going to be going on Harlan Williams' new podcast that he's been doing for a minute now. Looking forward to that. I have not checked out Harlan's podcast, but I actually almost clicked on an episode the other day. Harlan plays Sugar. Not Sugar, what the fuck? Officer Harry Cox. God damn it.
Sugar and Officer Harry Cox are way two different names.
Officer Harry Cox and Big Money Hustlers. My brain went to honk for Sugar immediately. Let's see. Host Guy shouts out Gas Digital Comics that have been at the gathering, and Jay says it's been an honor to be on. They kind of wrap that shit up. All right, now here's Jay on the Artist Friendly podcast with Joel Madden. And so we'll talk about next. Old Joel Madden from Good Charlotte. And one of the twins of Good Charlotte. Emily, brief history with Good Charlotte. You're a big Good Charlotte mark, right?
I mean, like,
Ooh, I'm going to have some from the cup.
Definitely listened to a lot of Good Charlotte back in the day. I just want to live. Don't get me started.
What is in there?
Do you hear that ice?
Yeah.
Do you know what time I put that ice in here? About 6:50 in the morning.
Damn, son. She really loves this new cup. Did you have this cup last time? No, you had the giant thing. You had the giant,
Look at my
cup.
new fucking cup! cup. I'm obsessed with this fucking cup. Literally, this cup is so amazing.
She's been marking out over this cup
I sent
all
Taffy
week.
a picture of me, and I was like, look at my new cup.
All week. All right, let's get into this Joel Madden.
This is the B12 coffee.
Oh yeah, that's right. What's in that shit?
It's the B12 coffee with a whiskey essence double shot added, and then
No actual booze, right?
No, it's just it's a whiskey essence flavor.
Woo!
It's coffee.
Woo.
It brews at 200 degrees.
Woo.
How could there still be booze in it?
Woo.
And I used almond joy creamer.
It's pretty tasty.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Pretty tasty. All right, I'm going to do the Joel Madden one, and then we'll do the Stevo one, and we'll call it an episode, because we're almost 2 hours into this shit. Me too. Jay on the Artist Friendly podcast with Joel Madden. Joe asks, now this is a little bit more conversational, so I think I have slightly less notes from this. Dude kind of cuts Jay off a few times. I don't know. Anyway, Jay asks, or Joel asks Jay if he grew up in Michigan. And Jay says, yeah. It's just such a ridiculous question. That's his first fucking question.
So
I
he
swear
did
to
no
God.
research.
Did nothing. I mean, his next question, I think, displays some of why this interview was a little odd. Joel says that he was a little nervous to do this interview. He says that, you know, they're kind of like infamous in the world. He didn't really know what to expect from them. And yeah, he was a little nervous to do this interview. Kind of stumbles around saying that he respects them and he's intrigued by them. Jay sounds a little weird at first in this interview, had me a little concerned, but we'll talk a little bit about that later. Kind of mumbly in this interview, but he does explain why, and I'll talk about why. There's no need to worry about Jay's sobriety being broken, at least in my opinion. Joel questions are a little jumbled as well, though, and he's all over the place. Joel asks, at what age did they decide to build this world, build the Juggalo world and stuff, I guess. Jay says he grew up in pain, talks about trauma, poverty, and his brother never let them get that down. How they had picker force and imagination, how imagination helped them mold the characters in their music, how it really all comes from imagination. Joel asks, how old was he when he felt he escaped poverty? Jay says he was 24 when he felt comfortable that he was, out of poverty. Let's see. He says, but he would always just put money back into the company. That comes up in the Stevo podcast a little bit. Jay talks about his opinion on rich people changing with time. How he used to really just straight up beat up rich people. They used to go to richy neighborhoods and beat up kids and shit. But his opinion is slightly changed. How some people get stuck in poverty, and how that's not a good thing necessarily. Keeping it real, staying in the hood when you really shouldn't be staying in the hood, and you should maybe try to get the fuck out of there. It's not because keeping it real goes wrong.
Want better for yourself.
Yeah, because Jay lives in the fucking woods, straight up. Does talk about beating up rich kids back in the day. No matter who you are or what you got, nobody can escape the trials and tribulations of being human. That is a direct quote from Jay from that podcast. That's really dope. Joel says one of the reasons he wanted to talk is because they've been doing it for so long. Jay says at this point that the gift of drive is key. That is really the key to everything. Success to artistic continuance. I mean, 30 plus years at this point. Joel asks if Jay can spot a fan on the street.
Yeah, fucking.
I mean, it's like, yeah, of course he can recognize Juggalos. Jay says from certain logos and stuff. I mean, some of these questions were a little basic. Jay says that for a while there was no war in the Juggalo world for years. There was no war. None of the artists didn't get along with each other. It was a lot of peace. And Joel asks if that's the case anymore.
Nope.
And Jay says no while laughing. Jay says that over time it changes. That if it had the Hatchet Man back on the product back in the day, that it was something Jay had his hands on and he endorsed, and that they endorsed that shit. Which I think is it's a very interesting statement there. Jay talks about going through a bad time during COVID, and he had a dream about a blinged out hatchet man, and that it's similar to the one that I guess he had designed recently that he's currently wearing. I think Joel was giving him props for his hatchet man at this point. Jay says it matches his teeth. Jay got the new blinged in teeth for I think all of these interviews. Joel says he thought the teeth were implants. Which I thought was really funny. Jay talks about the hearing aids. Joel says his right ear is bad at this point. Jay let's see. Oh, this is a great story. Jay tells a story about how he discovered his hearing was going. There's a couple of little stories here. One time he was at a truck stop while they were on tour, and he dropped the change on the ground in the store there in the truck stop, and he didn't hear the noise that it made jingling on the ground. And that's one of the ways he kind of knew, oh, fuck. He picked up the change off the ground, and he threw it on the ground again, and still nothing. He went back on the bus and just started crying, he said. That was like the first time.
Dog.
Jay says another time.
Sad.
Yeah, it's really sad. I mean, imagine knowing your hearing's going like that. Jay says another time he was in the studio and they were doing a skit with crickets in the background. And he was trying to get the perfect cricket sound because there's like ones with cars going by. And he just wanted the cricket sound, you know what I mean? And they play one of the cricket sounds and he's just sitting there waiting. He's like, all right, play it, play it, play it. And they're like, dude, it is playing. And he straight up couldn't hear the crickets. He couldn't hear the crickets at all in the sound. He says he wears them on and off because sometimes they give him anxiety. He feels like they trigger panic attacks, apparently. Jay says that 3 years ago he started wearing them more regularly. He says that one time the cat stole one of them and they couldn't find it anywhere for like a year.
Oh.
And that those bitches are $13,000 a piece, I think he's saying.
No, 100%.
So that's like $13,000 that they just lost. And I think he stopped wearing them for a while around there. Joel interrupts at this point to tell his own cat story. That a cat they just adopted liked to attack his feet. And that he swung his foot and broke a toe right before tour out of frustration. And that he had to tour the entire time with a cane.
Lame.
That was Joel's little interjection. Jay, that was one of the more, in my opinion, one of the more awkward parts of that interview. Jay says he didn't wear them for a year after the cat incident. Found it on the floor just randomly one day, though, and it still worked. He's upgraded them since. He has the newer model. Talks about Shaggy wearing them too. Joel asks, where's Shaggy at? Which is like, that's like the question he probably gets on the street by like dumb fans and shit. Like, hey Jay, where's Shaggy at? Like, it's like, hey Silent Bob, where's Jay?
Facts.
Like, it's such a, I love that. Where's Shaggy at?
This description of this interview is making me think that Joel's a fucking.
He's just maybe not a good interviewer.
Yeah.
It's actually a pretty cool interview because it's rather conversational. Jay says that Shaggy's on tour though. Jay calls Shaggy his best friend. Joel asks how old they were when they first met. Jay says Shaggy was like 10 and he was like 12, but he might be off by a few years. Like could have been 9 and 11 or whatever. Jay went to school with his brother and they all three hung out. Shaggy was in middle school and it was all three of them. He really quickly says that his brother left the band and years later passed away. He kind of brushes over John Kick Jazz there. They used to be a gang and that there was 10 of them. Then they turned to music, and there was about 5 of them that were serious about the music and promoting. Excuse me. Jay was 19 when he started in the music. Talked about the wrestling too. Jay uses walking up a mountain as a metaphor for the grind and drive. Talking about Juggalos a bit here. Juggalos are people. This is something he said on the SDR podcast as well, talking about Juggalos and just people don't realize that Juggalos are just people, you know? And let's see. Jay says while talking to Joel at one point that he wishes he had a hit, like Joel does, and that it feels good to be sitting there with Joel. Straight up, like getting that mainstream props. I think Jay really appreciates, and I mean, he straight up says it. That Jay was underground for years. ICP was underground for years, and they didn't get invited anywhere, not to the Grammys, not to any award shows. But because of that, the industry has nothing to do with their success.
Facts.
You know, like Jay, but Jay says he wants to do some of these events. He wants to bring Sarah to some of these events. Where's the invite, basically? Which Joel at this point kind of just goes like, dude, you should just like ask to go this year. You should just go.
Yeah, okay.
Like just sort of assuming that Jay always gets invites to the Grammys, like he probably does, you know. Let's see. Jay brings up Sharon Osbourne. He asks Joel if he ever heard the Sharon Osbourne thing back in the day. Joel says that he likes Howard Stern. Jay brings up the this to tell the whole part of Sharon is threatening them at one point during the Howard Stern incident. That she'll there'll never be anything ever again. She'll destroy them and all this stuff. Right. And he's like, "What are you gonna do to us?" That's one of my favorite parts about that whole fight. What are we gonna do to us? We are not on MTV. We're not on radio. Yeah. What are you gonna do?
Yeah, facts.
That's it. He just brings it up to sort of talk about that moment. That there've always been outsiders, and that's gonna be their legacy. Jay says that they've been outsiders. Jay says he wants to take his girl to the Grammys, though. Joel says, next Grammys, you should go. That's how he puts it.
That's lit.
Jay wants to do festivals. Yeah, like just go. Just go to the Grammys. Just show up. Jay wants to do festivals. He tells that Vanilla Ice story again about being accepted in front of people he doesn't normally perform in front of. He likes performing in front of people who have never seen their art before for the first time. I think that's dope. Says that they should do, they usually do about 2 festivals a year, which is pretty accurate. Blue Ridge and Riot Fest being the 2 that they're doing. Jay talked about doing Blue Ridge last year and loving it, and said it was a fucking blast. Jay says a lot of rappers don't do what they do on stage. Joel asks about touring, and Jay says that they stopped touring. Talks about them not doing regular touring and that they only do the big events now. He does say once again that Ballas, while talking about the big events, he does say Ballas is in New York. But once again, my speculation is maybe I don't know if it really will be in New York this year. And I think Jay almost assumed that it's in New York every year or something. When it was only on the boat for 1 year. But maybe they're bringing it back on the boat this year. It seems like they very well might be. Jay says that they are still gonna do the farewell tour. This is another kind of flip-floppy thing where I think they said the farewell tour was canceled at one point in one of these interviews, but now the farewell tour is back on. Talks about the heart issues and having to slow down a bit. He says that he's where he is before having with this new procedure. He's where he was before. Joel asks about lifestyle changes, and Jay says he has to pace himself, but really no lifestyle changes. I think Jay kind of misunderstood that question. I think Jay thought he was asking about lifestyle changes as far as after that, but Jay was more taking it as stuff he had to do as far as before it or something. I don't know. I think he kind of misunderstood that. Jay says that they did 2 concerts before the procedure and that no one noticed that he was having problems. I definitely noticed one of those concerts. If one of those concerts was the Hootenanny, I noticed something was off that night. Jay says heart stuff was right before COVID. All that stuff went on. He says before this interview, he ate a bag of gummies and that he apologized for being a little slurry. Jay says that his brother lives with him now. And this is going to tie into the Stevo thing. Jay says that Jump Steady lives with him now. Let's see. He was asked if he lives in the same town, I guess. And Jay mentions him and his brother live in the same town. And Jay says offhandedly that Jump lives with him. He tells a story about picking up JJ's Jeep at the dealer and being warned that those cars were getting jacked a lot right now. And then Jay being paranoid about a car full of old folks with masks on, only to realize that they were old folks with masks on and not carjackers. They were wearing COVID masks. masks,
God.
or like bandanas, I guess, as COVID masks or something, and they were not trying to carjack him for JJ's Jeep. Jay says he's fully behind whatever his kids want to do. Very much like his mom. His mom was always very supportive of whatever Jay wanted to do. He uses the example of starting a YouTube show, which is something he did with Ruby, and encouraging JJ to do live streaming on Twitch as examples. Those are two things that these kids definitely did. And I'm sure Jay definitely helped promote JJ's Twitch. I remember that shit. Jay says both of his kids are unspoiled and never ask for anything, but Jay does admit to basically spoiling them and trying to spoil them. Talks about his mom always being supportive back in the day, which definitely Jay, very much like his mom in that aspect. Wishes his mom lived closer to him. I guess she lives a little bit away. I think an hour away or so. Jay wishes she lived closer. Jay says he can tell his brother anything, and that Jay lives his entire life like he's on camera. This is something that, once again, kind of ties into the Stevo podcast. Jay says he doesn't want to hurt anybody ever. And that the clown paint should tell you it's entertainment, that, you know, he doesn't really want to hurt people. Jay then plugs his girlfriend's OnlyFans, and that's kind of the end of that podcast. Now we're going to go into, and we're going to wrap this shiz up with the Wild Ride episode. Let me take our face off. I have this image of Jay and Stevo because I was watching this shit and I was like amazed at how much Stevo's just cheesing at fucking Violent J. For like, I swear to God, like at least half the interview, Stevo's just smiling like this, so happy with Violent J, like being on the show. And he gives Jay props multiple times, saying that this is like the best episode maybe that they've ever done of this podcast. Definitely up there in some of the best episodes. Really good episode. Stevo really showed his interviewing talents a lot on this shit. Let me put the camera back on. Actually, let me move that.
I can hear the crickets outside.
Violent J camp. Sorry, Jay.
Too soon.
Okay. All right. Stevo starts this episode. This is episode of 176 of Stevo's Wild Ride. Stevo starts by saying he made this one a juicy one and that he might get in some trouble or some backlash for this one. I don't think he's going to get any backlash at all for it. I think he was very, very respectful in talking about some of this stuff. And he got some really good, honest shit out of Violent J. And it was a really good interview. All right, let's get into it. Says that he kept checking in with Jay throughout the interview to make sure that it was cool. This is like the preamble. This is like the intro before the show. They open up really raw. Like you can tell Jay basically just sat down. And it's like the pre-part of the podcast, but they just started filming immediately. He's kind of asking about WrestleMania and wrestling. Stevo does the intro when he realizes they're rolling and asks Jay what he's here promoting, first of all. Jay says he's going on the second leg of the Three-Headed Monster tour. Jay says that ICP is taking a year off, so to speak. Now, this is the part where I think certain other Juggalo podcasts maybe got confused. I do believe they're talking about that same year off that they've been on. I don't think they're taking another year off, and there's no speaking of the 6th at all. Which for them means that so far this year, they've only released 8 songs, and they're still doing their 4 annual events and a couple of festival dates. So for ICP, that's a year off.
Right,
still releasing
right.
a EP and doing 4 annual events that they always do and a couple of fucking festival dates as well. So like that's their version of a year off, still working together.
Facts.
Jay calls Three-Headed Monster his side project at one point. Stevo wants to pull up Jay's net worth. Straight up just pulls up Jay's net worth. I think this is one of the spots Stevo was nervous about. Stevo says ICP pioneered their own form of guerrilla marketing, and the internet says Jay is worth $13 million. Wild overestimate. Stevo says he can't. This is an interesting part. Stevo says he can't tell if they're super humble or completely insane when talking to Jay about their business aspects. And maybe don't know what they're doing. They definitely know what they're doing. Jay says that all the money they make still goes back into the company, and they only take what they need. That they were, let's see, they keep doing it that way. Even when they went platinum, they kept doing it that way. That's from way back in the day. They've never had a money guy, they said.
That's interesting.
Yeah, it's very interesting. And come to think of it, you never really have heard about that. When Billy came in after Alex Abyss left, and Alex Abyss almost certainly stole some money from them, probably should have had a money guy for that situation. They started taking a monthly paycheck after Billy came in, though. So they do take a monthly paycheck. Jay says he doesn't have $1 million in his account, or $500,000 in his account, or even $100,000 in his bank account. They don't live in no mansions. Jay says that Jump said they cleared only $5,000 profit at the gathering this year. That was the profit after everything's said and done, paying everybody $5,000 profit at the gathering this year.
Interesting.
Co-host dude asks how much they spend on Fago. Jay said to ask Billy. Says they use less sometimes on bigger stages because sometimes it takes longer, depending on the setup, to walk to where the Fagos are. So therefore, they just are throwing less because they grab less. But sometimes on bigger stages, they use more because sometimes on those stages, they double the clowns. They double the amount of Fago that they use when they do that. So they use a lot more. It just kind of depends on the event or the show. Co-host dude asks how they launched the Fagos so far. And Stevo interrupts for an ad break. Talking about launching water up his butthole. As a cool tie-in. They cut back to Jay, and he describes that the 2-liter is often so fucking hot that he doesn't really need to do shit. Just kind of like open it, and he has this 2-finger technique where he kind of just releases the fingers and they fucking go.
Because it's so much gas is releasing.
Yeah, he says if they're hot and like have been in the truck heating up, they just go. And he says that's one of the reasons they don't really tour in the winter anymore. Because if they're on a truck, they're getting cold and they don't really fly the same, even if shaken up. And that I think in some situations they might have been straight up half frozen and shit. And you're not really getting fizz at all. If that shit's frozen at all,
someone's getting fucking like someone's getting
beamed.
Head.
Someone's getting beamed in the head with a fucking half frozen Fago. Can you imagine? Yeah, and that they would just be pouring it on themselves and it's ice cold, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, because they pour the shit on themselves quite a bit. And that's one of the reasons they don't do the winter touring anymore. But yeah, they don't really rock it if they have no fizz. Co-host dude 2 asks if they've ever tried to get a Fago sponsorship. And that's something that he just talked with Jump about recently to check maybe if there's new people over there. And Jay laughs and says, this is a quote, by the way, Fago ain't fucking with us, man. Stevo apologizes for asking about the net worth question at this point. I think a couple of minutes of thinking about this, maybe to himself, like, shit, maybe I shouldn't have asked that. And Jay says, he ain't no rich kid. It's cool. It ain't no thing. He says, but he rented a Bentley and JJ McLaren for this Florida trip to see Stevo. So Jay's balling at least a little bit to be able to do shit like that. They look up Stevo's net worth at this point. Stevo is only worth $4 million, according to the same sources, which makes no fucking sense to me. Makes no fucking sense. Jay even says there ain't no way that he has 13 and he has only 4. Fucking Stevo is in movies and shit.
Yeah,
but if you know some of Stevo's history, he got paid notoriously low for all of these jackass projects. They raped Stevo. They fucked him over.
Is he the one that talked about with 4 like being an adult? Oh wait, no, that was on the Oliver Tree podcast. So.
Oh yeah, I gotta watch that Oliver Tree interview. Stevo did an interview with Oliver Tree.
Well,
that's supposed to be fire.
He talks about how with Jackass 4,
he probably had a better deal.
People were like, "Why are you not negotiating?" Yeah, and he was like, "I didn't even think about that." And so with Jackass 4, he finally like negotiated and actually got. He actually talks about that on the Oliver Tree.
Yeah, I gotta see that fucking Oliver Tree episode, man. Yeah, Emily watched that whole shit and says it's really good. And Oliver Tree does kind of break character a couple of times. This is great. This is fucking great. They then, Stevo wants to look up Bam's worth.
Stop.
Out of nowhere. I swear to God, Stevo's idea, they want to look up Bam. Jay starts laughing. He's looking at Bam. Bam's at 5 million. And Stevo starts laughing and says that he's finally catching up.
That's
which is so telling. And Stevo being honest as fuck, by the way, because on his Radio Bam appearances, he's honest in saying, like, he used to be, he's jealous of Bam. He wants to be Bam. And if you think about it, Stevo really did want to be Bam. Stevo really wanted to be Bam. And I think Novak weirdly wanted to be Stevo, if that made any sense. Yeah. But Novak also wanted to be Bam with all the scarves and shit. Yeah, anyway.
It's on Stevo's YouTube, Stevo's podcast.
Yeah, Stevo's podcast. Same gimmick that this is on. Stevo on YouTube there. Stevo asks again, but we're cool, right? Just to clarify, you're really nervous that he pissed Jay off with the money question. Co-host Dude One asks about wrestling. Jay talks about backyard wrestling and doing indie wrestling back in the day. Co-host Dude asks if he had any injuries from wrestling. And Jay says not really, but Shaggy has a bunch. Shaggy definitely took more bumps. Shaggy was the more suicidal wrestler, Jay says. Jay talks a little bit about the secret and knowing that they would one day become wrestlers, the whole full circle thing again, going to wrestle for WWE, and then WCW. Stevo says that he was at the last WCW event, the last Nitro, down in Florida, and he does say March 2001 was the last one. That was the show he was at. I think he was legit at the last Nitro then, because it was indeed in Florida in March. Someone needs to go through that footage and see if you can see Stevo in the crowd. Stevo tells a story about getting mobbed at that Nitro and that he went to VIP and he was upset that so many fans were fucking with him. This must have been after Jackass had premiered, I would assume. And he sits next to wrestler Canyon at the bar. Canyon listens to Stevo complaining about all the people, all the fans wanting photos. And Canyon, this is so dope. Canyon says to Stevo, hey man, stop and think about a day when no one wants another photo. Oof. Which makes Jay says, Jay basically says Canyon was a wise motherfucker. And that is a very wise thing to say. Jay says wrestling probably had a lot to do with their gimmick. Jay talks about talking with Billy Corgan. Hopefully we get that Billy Corgan collaboration. Talks about doing the 75th anniversary show. I think at this point he was trying to set that up. I think he had just talked with Billy because this is, I think, a couple of weeks back. Stevo asks about Jay being fat. He uses the word fat. That's Stevo's word. He asks about Jay being fat and losing weight. They also bring up the heart failure, and Stevo cuts to another ad. They come back, and he talks about the heart condition, noticing that he would get winded. He thinks it was right at the start of COVID. I think they asked him if he thought it was COVID, and I don't think Jay really thought it was COVID at the time. But they did go to the hospital right at the start of COVID. They talk about him getting shocked twice and having the AFib procedure where he says he's back to where he was before. Said he did the 2 shows before the procedure was done, which ties into that stuff from before. Host Guy 1 asked what caused it. Host Guy 2 asked if it runs in the family. Jay said that's when he decided to stop touring like they used to. Said regular touring was getting boring anyway, and not the performing part, but just kind of going to the same venues and all the other stuff in between. Jay does say that he brings his own tour bus when they tour, but that's for the family and stuff, because they both bring their families essentially when they tour. Jay talks about the farewell tour still going down, but they're just kind of putting it off for now, is his words on the farewell tour. Stevo talks about hosting the Gathering and doing stunts before each act leading up to ICP, not knowing that ICP typically does not have anyone introduce them vocally before they perform. They just kind of close the curtains The lights go down, curtains open, and the show begins. There's no vocal introduction. And that Stevo had already laid out this whole gimmick to the crowd that he's gonna amp stuff up leading up to the fire stunt before ICP. And that Billy came up to him and told Stevo that no one introduces ICP. That Stevo then went to Jay and Shags and got permission basically to open and introduce for ICP. Stevo was just walking around with hairspray, hitting it with fire, just hitting that shit and burning shit. I guess he burnt an insect off of Shaggy. They talk about Chris Hansen being backstage. Jay says Chris Hansen is his boy, that he's watched To Catch a Predator so many times that he questioned himself. Talks about Chris coming over for the Patreon show. Chris like randomly texts Jay like to see how he's doing. They're really cool with fucking Chris Hansen. Co-host guy 1 asks about his relationship with DJ Paul. Stevo then interrupts to do a pube trimmer ad. They come back and Stevo talks about his relationship with DJ Paul and 3-6 Mafia, doing the jackass stuff back in the day. Jay then talks about being down for Mad Long with 3-6, how 3-6 was doing the wicked shit kind of in their own region, and that 3-6 hit them up to collab. I think Jay says that's the first time and one of the only times they've ever been hit up by like a mainstream artist to do a collab, or really any artist to do a collab on that level. I think that must have changed a little bit by now. 3-6 came to the third gathering ever. They were so down. Jay says that he thinks he's done 3 songs with 3-6 now. But then he remembers, yeah, they did a whole album together too. Stevo shared a video after that gathering of DJ Paul drunk as fuck. And he had to ask DJ Paul if it was cool if he shared it. And DJ Paul's like, yeah, that's fucking cool. Share that shit. If y'all were at that gathering, DJ Paul's set was interesting. He was very fucking intoxicated on stage. He did the song Surprise about 7 times, I would say, conservatively. And he was saying that you should piss on the security multiple times as well. Fucking legendary performance. I love one of my favorite performances, good or bad, however you saw it at that gathering that year. DJ Paul is a friend to Violent J. He says that he likes the way Paul dresses, and that he's not an industry friend. He's a real friend to Violent J. DJ Paul wanted to do stand-up and apparently came over to Stevo's house to work on material. DJ Paul stand-up coming soon? Can you imagine? No. Piss on Security was fucking hilarious, though. I think he's got talent for it. I mean, doing Surprise 7 times in a row is really funny to me, too. I think he's got definitely comedic chops. Jay talks about how a lot of wrestlers are doing stand-up now, and that he's thought about doing it because of the wrestlers doing it. Talks about Mick Foley and The Undertaker doing stand-up comedy. This is fucking lit. So they look up The Undertaker's website at this point on the podcast, right? And on Undertaker's website, this is the description of The Undertaker's stand-up comedy style. Get ready for this fucking... Ooh, this is good. The prop comedy of Carrot Top meets the frenetic zaniness of Dane Cook with a sassy dash of Amy Schumer.
No way!
That's,
no way!
Swear to God, that's how they read it. I could not find Undertaker's website to confirm this shit. I wanted to so bad. I fucking hope that's true and not a bit. Fuck, that is lit.
I love him.
Stevo brings up Zach Ass hosting the gathering. And Stevo reached out to Zach because he wanted to know something from Zach Ass about his experience hosting. He wanted to know if Zach had showed his butthole at the gathering of the Juggalos, because Stevo famously on stage showed his.
Cavernous.
He gets to it. He actually calls it a cavernous cave. Stevo says when you get on stage at the gathering, they want to see your butthole. Jay says that's speculation on his part. Jay says they say it more as shock than actually really wanting to see it. And Stevo says, no, he asked Shaggy, and Shaggy said, oh yeah, they want to see it. Jay says that Shaggy has never shown his butthole, though. Stevo says he tried to show Shaggy his butthole, but Shaggy ran. Stevo describes his butthole as a cavernous cave, at least according to that picture. By the way, you can do a little Google searching and find this picture. I cannot show you this picture on here at all. Boy, I want to, though. This picture of Stevo's butthole is ridiculous. I mean, at one point, one of the co-hosts says it looks like Stevo could have fit the microphone up that butthole easily.
God.
I mean, and that's no exaggeration. It's rather gaping.
Stevo's taken the Louisville Slugger a couple
The
times.
Louisville Slugger a couple of times. Stevo shows Jay the pic at this point, and Jay is shocked and disgusted and looks away. They didn't say that Zach did butt chug Fago at the gathering of the Juggalos, and that's a appropriate carrying of the jackass torch of showing butthole, if you will, at the gathering. Shaggy texted Stevo the butthole photo. the actual photo to Stevo. And Stevo tried to explain that his butthole wasn't that cavernous to Shaggy, and he actually wanted to show him in real life. I think that's when Shaggy ran. Stevo says that he loves Violent J at this point. And this has been one of the best episodes ever of Wild Ride. And that's why I wanted to show you guys this picture of Stevo smiling, because you can tell he legit does love Jay. He really has a lot of love for Violent J. And Jay says that he loves Stevo too. It's a really fucking sweet moment. The way Stevo flipped his... this is now Jay giving Stevo props. He says he looks up to Stevo the way Stevo flipped his life from one extreme to the other. Jay is in Stevo's new book, apparently, which I think just came out. I'm really curious what Stevo wrote about Jay in his new book. Jay said he hasn't finished it yet because he's lost it twice. Now, at this point, this is when we get to some really interesting stuff about Jay and his sobriety. Stevo asks about Jay and how he's doing, and mentioned that he does stuff about he doesn't talk about publicly. Really weird how he words this, how he gets into it. I feel like he talked about this stuff with Jay before they went live, and he kind of goes into, I think this is another reason he was nervous. Jay says that he went through epic bomb after epic bomb for a while. Stevo mentions the death at this point. Jay then talks about Jump Steady and Rachel breaking up, being another epic bomb. Talks about her not taking her medication, or at least that's how he understands it happening. It uses the word allegedly. Says she went crazy allegedly. Jay says all that is nothing compared to losing someone, though. Jay says he went to rehab and a rehab/trauma center in Florida. Admits that he was on drugs while trying to deal with his loss. This is the most honest I've seen Jay be about this drug addiction stuff, is on this podcast. And I've watched a lot of ICP interviews, y'all. This is the most honest I've ever seen him be about this drug addiction stuff, for sure. Stevo mentions that Jay really wasn't an alcoholic or a drug guy before, back in the day, which is accurate as fuck. Jay used to talk shit about some of that stuff. On those Howard Stern interviews mentioned earlier, he's making fun of Ozzy for being a fucking junkie. And I think it's dope that Stevo brought that up. Stevo says that a lot of this drug stuff was very secretive, and that Jay says it became secretive, is how he puts it. He says he escaped his own guilt because he never felt like it was a problem using drugs. Jay says anything, and Stevo kind of is apologizing at this point again. Anything you want to talk about, he's there to talk about, and that there's an art to not giving a fuck. Let's see. This is what I was telling you about earlier. Says the only thing that he doesn't want people to see him doing is jacking off, and that really he doesn't have any secrets. He like in the earlier interview saying that he could live his entire life on camera at this point. That ties into that whole thing. Jay says he's good now from drugs, and he gives Stevo his word there that he's good now on drugs. Says that he lives with his brother now, and now I do believe this means Jump Steady lives with Jay. I don't think Jay is living with Jump. Let's see. Woo! Bad kitty.
Scared me.
Let's see. He says that Jump Steady called Dr. Drew, and that Dr. Drew recommended the place that Jay went to in Florida. He says that on January 1st, when he got out of this facility in Florida, that now Jump Steady randomly piss tests him. He said to Jump Steady that there's nothing. He says basically it doesn't bother me if there's 5,000 piss tests in between me and you guys trusting me again. So now Jump Steady randomly piss tests him. Jay offers them up, but Jump Steady will knock on his door to get a random piss test from him. Jay says he doesn't have urges and that he's blessed for that, which is literally something I say all the fucking time, almost word for word, that with my alcoholism thing, that I'm lucky as fuck that I don't have urges.
That's how it is with dope too. I can be around that shit. I can see people doing it. I've seen people do it. It's like I have no desire.
Now they bring up AA meetings a little bit here. I saw earlier in the chat someone brought up the AA meeting thing. I think Heartbreaker did, about how he thinks Jay should go to AA meetings, or NA meetings, I guess they would be in Jay's situation. But he says he doesn't want to go to meetings and that kind of stuff because he thinks it would be a reminder, and that he doesn't think about it right now, and he doesn't really need those reminders because he doesn't have the urges. Stevo says he looks great and sounds great, that he lost a lot of weight, and Jay says he's gained some back. Jay says, talks about Sarah and meeting her through Instagram for a little bit here. Stevo and Jay are going to link as Stevo's Toledo show, it seems. Now, this is the beginnings of them talking about a rap redemption for Stevo. Stevo promos his tour real quick, and they talk about the Three-Headed Monster tour, and figure out that they're going to be near each other at that Toledo show, the Three-Headed Monster Toledo show, by the way. Stevo pretty psyched about this episode. Let's see. Stevo says they're getting pretty good at doing interviews, and he was worried about putting him on blast. And once again, Jay has to reassure him that you're good. Stevo brings it up Stevo brings up the first time that they met, and how he basically was disrespecting him the first time that he met, and he really doesn't want a repeat of that situation. He wants to be the opposite of doing that this time. He does not want to disrespect Jay. It's crazy how much respect he has for this painted up clown. Okay, let me finish this up. We're almost at the end here. Jay says at this point, he's got to tell Stevo something, and that he heard his rap that he did, and that Stevo can do a lot better than that with the rap song. Stevo wants to do a song with Jay, and on the podcast, they basically set up that Jay is going to send Stevo something to record, and that they're going to try to do a music video in Toledo. So if you're going to that Toledo show at the Three-Headed Monster tour, there's a good chance you're going to see Stevo perhaps film a music video on stage with Jay. So that Toledo show might be something special to go to. If you're trying to pick a show in that area to go to, Toledo might be the one if you want to see something interesting. Jay's going to send him something. Stevo says he'll do it right on the van. He'll record the verse right on the van. They got those Shure SM7Bs right there on the van, so he can definitely record there. Jay wants to show people Stevo can really rap, though. The rap redemption is an idea Stevo says he had on his whiteboard for a long time now. And Jay wants to see... Stevo wants to show Jay a picture of the whiteboard, and Jay tells Stevo that if he sees the picture on the whiteboard, he'll definitely do it. And let's see. Stevo says he sent the picture of the whiteboard after the podcast when he's doing his little wrap up. He describes the song as horror rap is what it is. That's the song that they'll be doing. And he says on the 9th, they're going to record their music video, which I think that's where I got confused with the 9th thing. Because that, I think, is when they're at Blue Ridge. Anyway, Props to Stevo for the good questions. It was a really good podcast. All right, I think we're wrapping this up. We are 2.5 hours on this episode. This is one of the longer ones we've done in a while. So let's wrap this up. Thank you guys for tuning in. I love you. Thank you for all the super chats and the gifts of membership to the alienated that y'all gave out. LHRPG, Rizal, Heartbreaker, everybody that gave the super chats and the membership. I think I'm forgetting somebody. Steve Sharp, thank you. Thank you to everybody who donated. That shit is much appreciated. Next Humble Among broadcast system, roughly a week, we'll say. That seems to be what I've landed on doing, is about every week, every 6, 7, 8 days, we'll do one. All right, I'm going to get off of here. Love y'all.
Love
whoop, whoop.
you fucking hoes.
We're going to go get some food and watch some content. I don't know exactly what we're going to watch. What do you think? Hateful Eight? You want to wait a little while and watch?
You tell me.
We'll figure it out. Might watch that Bam, Where the Fuck is Santa Claus thing. Might watch How To with John Wilson. And we might watch Hateful Eight Extended Edition.
We'll see.
We'll see. All right. Love y'all. Whoop, whoop. Have a good night. Thanks for everybody who tuned in. Make sure you hit the like gimmick, subscribe gimmick. Thank you for helping me hit 4,170 subscribes this past week. It now says 4.17 on the old YouTube, and that makes me happy. All right. Love y'all.
Bye.
Whoop, whoop. Good night.